Hello, and welcome to another episode of Manifest Actual Play. I'm Tommy Cotton. With me, as always, Dan Barron, Addie Gia, Seth Lilly, Roman Milan. We're here to play some Manifest, but before we get into the actual play, there's cool things that these people want to talk to you about. So you cool people, talk about things and stuff and things. Go. Do. Entertain.
So, every month we like to highlight a new charity. This month, our charity is the African American Breast Cancer Alliance. Their mission is to build awareness networks and provide resources for Black women and men affected by breast cancer. It was founded by Black women to address the lack of resources and support for breast cancer for African American women. The support available to them failed to handle the barriers, cultural needs, and side effects they were experiencing. And so now the AABCA is committed to sharing crucial and life-affirming information about breast cancer to Black women who have the highest mortality rate in the US and promote the benefits of early detection and treatment. The AABCA has been recognized locally and nationally for its efforts and is a fantastic organization that could use your support. They do incredible work, and if you have any time, money, or anything else you can offer them, we would really appreciate it. That's everything I got. Someone else now.
Fine. I'll step into this role. I'll save this sinking ship. Like I always have to. Like I'm
Carry the
always
stream, Roman. Carry the stream.
Fine. I'll go on tonight. Hey. Hey everybody. Welcome to the actual play stream, probably, unless you're on the podcast or YouTube or some other form of media we don't know about yet. But right now, you're on the actual play stream. We are here roundabouts 8 o'clock every Tuesday night here on Twitch. And if you need a reminder of that, like I do, like we could all use a little reminder nowadays, a little reminder that says, hey, you're important, or a reminder that says, hey, it's trash day tomorrow, so take out the trash before 1 a.m. and you remember it in a start as you're about to fall asleep. Or a reminder that says, hey, the stream's starting right now, go and watch it, you goober. Well, Twitch will say the last one to you word for word. If you go ahead and do these purple buttons right below me, there's a heart and there's a bell, and you can follow the stream, you can get notified when we're going live. And then there's also this big purple button that says gift a sub, and you can give subs to people, and then they can follow, or you can subscribe if you're not subscribed, and then you can follow along automatically, and then it'll tell you when we're live, and it's the best. And then also there's a little bit of money involved, and that money comes our way to basically put it back into helping to improve the stream, get guest stars, do special episodes, increase interactivity, all sorts of really fun and interesting stuff. And we really appreciate you guys' support. All of you who have given us subs and bits and everything. You are fantastic. Arget Lam, oh my god, Arget Lam hit the button. Oh, you can see what happens when you hit the button. Your name goes everywhere and it's cool. It's like a freaking ticker tape parade in New York in the 50s. Except instead of saying like numbers or whatever, I guess wasn't there. It says MC Arget Lam all the way down.
Holy crap! Button,
like Arget Lam did, it's the best, and it goes into supporting us and supporting the stream, and it goes back into making a better product, and we super appreciate it. Our supporters like Arget Lam and everyone else who supports us, thank you all so much. We appreciate you. We see you. We love you. I love you. Also, go ahead and follow us on our socials. We got Facebook, we got Twitter, we have Instagram. Just go follow Laura Dern. And all of the fun stuff. We've got Patreon, which Addie will tell you about a little bit. We got some spooky adventures coming out this week to go and check out over on the Patreon. But we really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much for being here, and we love you. Cool. And now, with that, I'm going to throw it over to Addie.
Hi, everybody. So... Hi, Seth. So I'm going to tell you about all the other things that we do. So the first thing, Roman already mentioned it, we relaunched our Patreon in August with a focus, shifting the focus from our podcast that we used to do called Essential NPCs to taking all of this, Waypoint, everything from this stream to manifest content and more once we can say more. So if you want to become a patron, some of the great benefits that you can get is you get a cool channel in our already exclusive Discord, and that you can hang out with the other real cool patron people who are actually very cool. That sounded disingenuous. It was not. I really like them. And I don't write down what I'm going to say. And then
lines are for suckers. Don't you forget it.
Suckers. Yes.
I write mine down every week. You should follow my lead.
How dare you? I used to, and then I kept forgetting, and then I felt like I just couldn't say anything. So you get a special mid-month update and adventure, and you're the first to get access to our podcast episodes, and anything else that we're releasing goes to our patrons first, other than the book and and stuff like that. It's a really great way for us to have a much more like personal connection with you guys, and so if you want to go check that out, it is patreon.com/Waypoint Game Designs.
You did it. You did it.
I did it. And it's in the chat right now if you want to click and take a look. We are also doing something special this week, and for the next couple of weeks. As you all may know, if you've watched us from time to time, we have an extremely talented, well, we actually have a couple extremely talented singers, but we also have an extremely talented songwriter in our midst. He plays many instruments, more than I know the number of, and he's such an asset here. His name is Seth Lilly. He might be, I don't know, this way. And so he has graciously accepted our request to write a new song specifically for us that we can release on the stream and use, and then also do the whole on our Patreon and on our Discord and all of that good stuff. But we refuse to let him do it for free. So we,
for the record, I would.
We were like, no. And so,
money in the boy to get music.
Because art means something. Your time means something. And so we have set up a bits goal. This is something that we haven't done before on Twitch, but I think like everyone else on Twitch has all done forever. So we've set that up, and once that bar fills up, Seth's gonna write us a song, and that's amazing. So there it goes. It's live right down there. So anytime you donate bits for Bittober and beyond. What? That's such a big thing.
I know. I looked around for an instrument, and this was the nearest one, so I just grabbed it.
That's crazy that's the nearest one. Anyway, so in celebration of Bittober and beyond, we'll come up with a pun for November as well.
November is the Roman and Dan birthday extravaganza month.
That's true.
Get them the greatest gift of all, a song from Seth. So anytime you donate bits, that bit counter thingy will start counting up. So yeah, that's it. I can't talk anybody. I'm just words don't work anymore. Please, somebody take this ball from me.
I think it's me now.
Okay, great. He's gonna lie to you.
The goal is 30,000 bits. Once we have accumulated 30,000 bits, Seth will write us a little song. And if you need a reminder, this beautiful thing that you've heard before. Yes, this song that's playing right now. This is the Waypoint theme. That plays at the beginning of end of every episode and during intermission. This was written by Seth Lilly. This is, I think, there was an earlier version in season 1. We have the final version here. You're all familiar with it. You've all heard it a bunch. And there you go. There's your little reminder of how talented this man is.
And when we say
Right.
Tommy's going to lie to you, that part wasn't a lie.
That wasn't the lie. That
Whole
was
thing,
not
it's all bullshit.
anticipating the
It
like
was-
true part before the lie.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it's
now
not
that
fair
I've
when he just makes
established
it
that-
okay. No,
now-
he's
To
that
reiterate,
was
it's
trustworthy,
30K,
but like the
now
rest
now
of
that
it
I've
isn't.
established
It is
that
truly for realsies 30K.
now that I've established that I tell nothing but the truth, let me talk to you about grit.
But what about your brother?
Up in the
We've been foiled.
up in the top left of our screens, everyone has a little grit counter. The players can have a maximum of 12 grit, and I have no limit to the amount of grit I can have, though there is a realistic limit to the amount of grit I can spend. The way grit works is we use our grit to augment our rolls and make the things that are important to us happen, or make it so that terrible things don't happen to us, like the many, many times that Porter has great misfired. Now, you can assist in the grit economy. You have channel points, which we call viewer grit. They're at the bottom of your chat. You earn them by watching, by subbing, by gifting subs, all the good stuff. And you can spend that grit to give us grit. Now you can spend 1,500 grit to give a player a grit, but for a cheaper price, you can spend 1,000 of your grit to give me grit. And when I use my grit against them, they get grit.
It's cheaper because it's worse.
And looks like we already have Carnaxis right at the beginning of the stream, and just now Fiddler Undone. We have a bunch of grit already gone in the mix. So let's see. We got +1 to the GM from Carnaxis. That's for me. Thank you, Carnaxis. Good investment.
Ew.
+1 grit to well, don't boo him yet. +1 grit to Gus from Carnaxis.
Yay.
Carnaxis, as I recall, is an agent
we're
of
square.
chaos.
+1 grit to Eloise from Carnaxis. +1 grit
you.
to Dex from Carnaxis.
Hell yeah.
And +1 grit to Porter from Carnaxis.
Had me worried with that pause there. Had me worried.
And then Fiddler Undone gives another grit to Porter.
Oh, thanks, Fiddler.
Fiddler Undone is, I believe, single-handedly keeping Porter in this campaign.
I can't tell you how accurate that is. Yes.
It's got to be like 30 grit at this point.
Yeah.
And so often he only just has enough grit. All right, cool. So with all of that out of the way, that is how viewer grit works. Now it's time for us to get into the recap and the actual play. But before we do that, let's transport our minds to the world of Manifest as we look at cool character art by Kate May.
And music.
And listen to
no,
no,
not
no,
what?
No,
No,
it's a
I'm not-
lie.
can't-
I'm the
can't
liar
legally take
now.
credit for that.
No. Distinctly.
Fuck.
No.
Fuck, you've
It
lost
should
all
be this
credibility.
time.
If you're curious who does the cool music with this character art, just oh my god.
Oh, snap.
Hey, we can just take down the bits goal.
What? Are you kidding me?
Y'all, I told you. Y'all were like, no. It's going to take time, I bet. I was like, I think if we put it out there, somebody's going to just fucking drop a ton of bits right on top of it.
Seth, get to work.
I'm
Get on the
doing-
keyboard right now, baby.
fucking I'm on top of it. Look, I will write new songs for every character if we get enough bits for that. I'll do it. That's my challenge to everybody.
Ryak just dropped 30,000 bits saying, I agree with Addy, art does mean something, and you are all
Yeah.
awesome. Holy fuck.
Wow.
The absolute mad lad.
That's ridiculous.
Bits goal complete. It's off the
Unreal.
screen now.
Well, thanks for a great night, everybody. See you later.
Seth has to get to work on a song now.
I gotta do it literally right now.
What?
Jeez.
Holy shit,
Unreal.
Ryak. That's insane. You're insane. Thank you so much.
That's so sweet.
All right, Seth.
All right.
All right. We'll see what Seth is able to whip up.
I can't even. I need
All right. The
Yeah.
all
best.
the character footage so I can go live.
Yeah, let's roll this beautiful bean footage.
Curly coming soon.
I was gonna say, if you were curious who did the music for the character art, look in I think it's mostly in the top left of the screen on the full character art. It shows we got it from a beautiful place called Incompetech, and they make royalty free music, and they're wonderful, and you should support them if you can. Bye. All right, we're back. So, all right. Previously on Manifest Actual Play,
Hold on to your hats for this one.
Eloise and Gus are currently in captivity at Brimstone Garrison, the kind of black ops, definitely evil aligned militia garrison in Fort Dearborn, run by Colonel Mitchell McGarrett. They have been kidnapped to be test subjects for Ulysses Pruitt, a scientist who came out of retirement a couple years ago to apparently do horrific and terrible experiments on illuminated people. One of those people was Scruff, who joined this party for a short period of time before moving on, going back into hiding. And Eloise and Gus, after a long fight in the Punched Peaks, Eloise and Gus were taken into custody by Henry Fawcett and the remainder of Black Star Mercenary Company, who have delivered them successfully. While in captivity, Eloise managed to pickpocket some of her captives or guards in order to get enough materials to MacGyver a little like micro EMP pulse, that one used little pulse that she could use to unlock her door. And Gus showed them that the very nice handcuffs and chains that they had used to restrain him were not enough. And so they created custom manacles for Gus that will make it much, much harder for him to escape. That's what's going on in Brimstone. Meanwhile, Dex and Porter were in the Punch Peaks, recovering from the battle as a freak thunderstorm rolled through and seemingly teleported them somewhere else, as they found themselves in some kind of grove tended to by none other than Kinsey McCharlotte, who you may remember from the first season. Led there by Kinsey's trusted jackalope Umbra, Dex and Porter exchanged some words with the old hermit and learned a little bit more about Leo Riggs and decided that they were not interested in continuing to trust Leo Riggs, knowing that he was going to betray them at any chance because they're not illuminated and therefore they are expendable to him. So they used the strange properties around Kinsey's Grove to exit the Grove in a different place and time as they stepped out of the Grove and were outside Waypoint. I think it was about 3 days later, even though for them only about 20 to 30 minutes had passed. I guess probably maybe a few hours had passed, because Porter did tell the entire story of this campaign,
That's right.
which we know at least has to take half as much time as we've been taking to play through it. So yeah, Porter did a whole monologue. They exited into Waypoint and got an emergency meeting with Mayor Alex Graves in order to update her on what they had learned about Brimstone and to ask if there was anything she could do to help. She said she might be able to help them financially. She might be able to rally skilled drifters to assist them, but she needed them to go home, rest, and think of a plan and come back to her with that plan so she could tell them what she could achieve within that plan. They went back to the Free State Bed and Brew, and that's when Porter's realized that drugs are bad, okay? And he after taking the mysterious combat enhancement drug that he acquired from a member of the Brimstone Garrison, the side effects kicked in, and they're all terrible. They're really bad. He's suffering from multiple standard side effects, all of which are bad, and then a unique side effect that seemingly permanently reduced his durability attribute by 1. So that happened. and then the very, very last thing that I believe happened in the last episode was Eloise was taken to Pruitt's laboratory, where she awoke and saw Ulysses Pruitt standing there, and he said he had some questions for her. So, let's pick up with Porter and Dex.
That's cruel to the audience, and you know it. Anyways.
Yes, just the audience.
Dex, I know Porter is resting right now. At least in his room. Suffering through his side effects. Dex, what were you up to?
I was heading to Rose Blacksmithing.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, you enter Rose Blacksmithing. It's kind of dimly lit by the forge in the center. It's swelteringly hot, and Loretta Rose does look up as you walk in. She is currently working. It looks like she's like basically working on a big piece of like industrial metal that she is like heating up and like bending with some like large tools, as she like kind of like puts her hip against it and like takes a step and then like pulls back and like reforms the thing and lets it cool. She wipes the sweat from her brow, turns to you. This you've crossed paths with her before?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I maybe like bought ammo,
yeah,
but like we haven't spoken. I haven't met her.
Yeah, she's short of frame, wiry, extremely tough muscle on this slender old frame of this like 80-year-old lady with tight curly silver gray hair. She looks up to you and wipes her brow and goes, "Bailey, right?"
Yeah.
"What can I do for you?" And she like tosses the rag and like goes over to start working on something else.
Yeah, I pull the guns that I took off the brimstone guys from my belt and set them down.
She turns and sees those and like kind of like narrows her eyes, like they're like to like little old lady beads as she like inspects them.
Are fine, but they lack an art I'm accustomed to.
All right. What do you want me to do with them?
May I see? And I hand her one as I like hold the other so we can like I can show her what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Not to like that I assume she doesn't know, right?
Yeah.
But
she starts like inspecting like the rifling and stuff like that. She like reaches up and pulls like a light down so she can like shine a light on it as she's inspecting it.
Yeah, like the work on the sights is adequate. The magazine is fine, but the grip it's built to be standardized, I assume, which I guess. If you could fit this to my hand, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem. All right, come on over here. And she goes over and like she has like this big workbench, which is just like a like massive like Omni tool, and she like pulls out a piece of like what looks like you've seen Eloise's like Omni tool. It is like finely crafted, high tech, like really really polished. Oh, everything okay, cool. Everything froze for a second. I got worried. Really really polished. This thing is like rustic and like beat up, like not necessarily beat up, but like made with like no polish, no frills, nothing. And she like opens up a panel and like pulls out a device and says, "Right hand."
I set my hand up.
She like scans your right hand, turns it over, scans it again, turns it back over, scans it a third time. She goes, "Left hand."
Give her my hand.
Does it again, and then sets it down and goes, "Right. Shouldn't be too hard. This is a pretty standard thing. Oh no. Why? If you wait here for a minute, I should be able to get it done in just a few.
Sure.
Uh, she sits down and starts like taking apart like the gun to like get a like now she's like scanning the gun, and then like you can already see as like basically a mold is being printed like on the desk as she like scans it and like messes with some things, and then like partway through the mold being printed she like stops and starts like whittling it by hand from there. Like she like basically it's like the general form of it, and then stops and doesn't let the machine do the rest of the work and just starts like carving it herself.
I'm not sure if this is the right place, but you might know where would be if it's not. Um, Photo replicant poncho. Is that something you have on hand?
On hand, no, but it is something I can put together. I believe I probably had the materials on hand. Let me take a look over there. She like pulls away from her work for a second to like look into like a cabinet, opens it up. She goes, yeah, Winslow owes me a few more tech cubes, so I could put one together. That'll take just a little bit longer, unless you're needing it in a rush job.
Time is a bit of the essence. How long would it take?
Photo replicant, I could probably put it together in probably a day.
I think Dex his instinct is to be like, that's too long, and then he remembers how bad Porter is.
Yeah, day and a half maybe, depending, but guaranteed quality. She goes back to like whittling like custom grooves into these things, like as like a device that she's put on her forehead is like basically giving her like a topographical like map of your hand that she is carving the thing to like match.
That's great. Okay. And how much would that cost?
Base 60 spurs.
Okay. Yeah. Um yeah, that's it for now then.
All right. Like during that time she's already like finished working. Like she like pulls off, it was all right, and you see that she's actually like she printed this mold for her to like work off of, but then went into making it with like a better material. Like she actually went and like opened up a drawer and pulled out this like really nice wood from like you would guess maybe the Frostfire forest in the garden, and she like carved out like pieces of that wood to be able to like imprint onto it and whittle into what you needed, and then changing both the metal frame of the pistol as well as like the wood on the side of the grips. She quickly like puts it together, like looks at it, like polishes off another thing, adjusts the sights to like match the new like grip and like the angle that you'll be holding it, and then she goes, all right, give these a try.
Yeah, I take them.
Yeah, it's like it fits perfectly, perhaps even better than the pistols you were provided by like the novitiate pistols you were provided by the wardens.
Honestly, probably. They're very nice guns, but I didn't get a custom job on those.
Yeah.
These are perfect, and I put them back in my gun belt.
It's gonna be so that you can add ergonomics to both of those at excellent quality.
Great.
And she goes, I'll be 6 spurs.
I hand her 6 spurs.
She throws them in a drawer, shuts it up, and goes, you just let me know when you want me to get started on that poncho for you.
Straight away, if you don't mind.
All right. Well, if you got a moment, I can take your measurements, or you can come back later this afternoon. I can get to work regardless.
I'll I'll be back later this afternoon. I gotta go check on.
Works
my
fine
friend.
for me. I gotta finish this here for the train depot, anyways.
All right, thank you.
She goes back, like grabbing this giant piece of metal and like wheeling it on like a chain to the other side of the forge and lowering it down to start reheating it so she can like bend it to the like final curve into place.
Yeah, and I leave and head back. I head back to Porter.
How you doing there, Porter?
Not well. I think, obviously a sleep, a full night's rest is helpful, but probably doesn't feel like he's ready to get out of bed just yet. Because this is still early in the morning, is that right?
It's probably like, I don't know when Rose Blacksmithing opens. I assume at like 7:15.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, so Dex, you walk in and Porter has like the shades drawn and is like laying on the bed, feeble looking.
What do you want?
Thought you might like to know. The doctor said you'll probably be okay.
Nice end to mince words. Yeah, he's probably right. Can I? I'll sleep for a little bit longer. I'll meet up with the mayor with you in a little bit. Just.
I just leave as Porter falls asleep.
Cool. Anything else you want to get into this morning, Dex? You're just kind of like getting some food and waiting for Porter to recover a little bit more.
I mean, at this point, I'm going to talk to the sheriff.
Cool.
I assume he's heard.
Yeah. You step up the steps to the sheriff's office. Door opens up, and young man, I can't remember if you've met Terry DeCastro. Yeah,
yeah.
I thought so. So Terry DeCastro is there. He tips his hat to you as you walk in. He's like basically opening up like a weapons locker and like putting a hunting rifle back. And he turns and like goes, "Mr. Bailey, heard you was back in town."
Deputy, is the sheriff awake?
He's over at the mayor's office right now. Should I send for him?
No. Thanks, and I'll head towards the mayor's office.
He nods and says good day, and then like locks up the cabinet and moves over to do some paperwork. And as you're approaching the mayor's office, you see exiting the mayor's office is Sheriff Fly. He like steps out. He has an inscrutable like neutral expression on his face. And then he looks and sees you and lets out like a little bit of a sigh and says, like, as you walk up, he goes, if we're going to talk, we're going to stop by Early's. I need a donut.
Sure, I could eat.
All right. He walks down a little bit. As you do, like people are like, sheriff, like as he walks by. And he gets down, and as he shows up at the Early Rise Bakery, what is his name? Earl
Hayes.
Earl Hayes. I can't remember his last name. Earl Hayes already has 2 donuts and a coffee set for Sheriff Fly. Like it's like clockwork. As Sheriff Fly like walks up, looks at you, grabs one of the donuts and reaches and hands it out to you.
Take the donut.
He takes the other one, grabs the coffee and goes, Earl. And he goes, Sheriff. And then Sheriff Fly, in kind of a like strange disconnective setting, walks over to a cute little 2-person table by the front window of Early Rise Bakery. There's like little pastry like art on the like open window. The fan is blowing the scent out into the street. Like there's these like kind of high top like almost diner style little circular tables that are set up there for people to sit if they want. And he just like goes up and sits there, sets down his coffee, and then turns to you to talk about Brimstone and all the other things that are going on. As occasionally like a townie or two will come in and the bell will ring and they'll have pleasant conversation off to the side with Earl as they buy various pastries and bread and so on from him. And he goes, well, no doubt you're wondering what happened with the mayor.
I'm curious.
Well, she caught me up to speed as to what's going on here. Particularly interested in what you saw happen with... He looks at like the armor on your chest that still has the scorch mark. He just kind of like taps the like laser mark on your armor and goes, with that. You ever seen Proto-Martyr tech before?
Nope. It's a little too young and a little too out of the way.
Well, from what I can tell, it's probably legit, not just something someone in Iron Harbor whipped up. Not
Felt legit.
Not a duplicate of any kind. You said it fired twice in quick succession?
That's correct.
Right. Well, I've seen that before. Unfortunately, you're just a little too late. Mayor talked some sense into me. I ain't gonna be riding out with you. Don't make any sense. I mean, Fawcett's got that gun. We gotta get it. But Fawcett ain't Brimstone, and from what I can tell, your target is Brimstone.
Fawcett's high on the list, but he's not at the top.
But you find that thing. Best to put a bullet in Fawcett and take about 12 paces back. Fast as you can. And then the filament will take care of itself.
Keep it in mind.
Assume you'll need some hardware.
Yeah. We're outgunned. There's 2 of us, and I've seen Porter shoot on a range. He's fine. But this is a war.
Well, I have some materials in my armory that might be useful to you. If you have any room for modifications on your armor, I have a few materials. Any of you use a shield?
Eloise does.
Well, I got stuff you can put on a shield that's specifically used to thwart off that kind of tech, lasers and whatnot. And then a few other tricks and whatnot, some gadgets. One thing you can use a lot to slow them down is I learned this trick from an old friend. You take a shield generator, you plop it down, let it take the first shot, and then you run out and keep firing. Don't take no time. I have a few of them up in the armory. I'd be willing to loan you. Well, let's be honest. I ain't loaning nothing. They'll be done and gone by the time you get back to me.
We'll take anything you're willing to part with.
I've tangoed with proto-martyrs using this kind of stuff. Fawcett ain't no proto-martyr, but he does have the tech, and that tech can be thwarted. I can give you a few tips and tricks before you ride out. But real thing is, if you can either damage whatever it is that's reading his heart rate, or his heart rate, then tech goes kaboom. You don't have to worry about it no more. He looks down at your hips and goes, "How many of your guns, son?"
Fawcett.
Surprised he ain't higher on your list.
Guns are things. There's people that need me more than I need those guns.
What would the wardens think you talking like that?
Honestly, don't care.
All right. My kind of gunslinger. Well, if you need any ammo or anything, don't bother Loretta. I got plenty.
All right. If you know people willing to take this on, we need folks good in a fight.
Me and Alex, we talked about it. We have some names brewing around, people who we know are either in town or nearby and are just stupid enough to go on this with you. They don't come cheap, but Graves is willing to foot the bill to a point.
We've got a little bit of a fund ourselves, so hopefully we can put something together.
All right. Well, you know where to find me, and I'm coordinating with Graves. See if I can get you some people who can help out. We think we can at least get a few. As long as we can foot the bill. Graves is pretty sure she can foot the bill on them if you don't need anything else from her. The ammo and stuff from me comes pro bono. You need weapons, ammo, armor, you let me know. I got an armory. Way I see it, I'm not at liberty to ride out on this crusade, but don't mean I have to sit by and let you go out there with nothing but your dick in your hand.
I appreciate it. I'll come by and take a look. You never been out. You never seen Brimstone yourself, have you?
Just from afar once. Flew over it once. Why?
We've got a partial map, but it's mostly interior. Doesn't exactly help us get in.
Well, when I flew over it, I was not paying much attention. It was just a landmark.
All right. Well, figured I'd ask.
All right.
Well, I should go check on Porter. He took some experimental combat drugs and is pretty laid out.
That man. That man. I heard a tale or two about him. The Castro's talking about him wrecking his wagon. You sure he's up for this?
No, but I don't think he won't do it.
No. Smart of you to not even try to tell him no, then.
Help I can get. You know, they're my friends, but it's more than that to him.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen him and Reynolds walk around town every once in a while.
You can tell immediately, right?
Of course.
Okay, good.
Well, I better get back to the office. Graves is still expecting you. She'll either call me in or coordinate with me separately. Once you tell her what your plan is, and we'll move out from there. When you're fighting the Fort Dearborn militia, they rely a lot on cover. If you're able to get an angle on them, they don't really know what to do.
Good to know.
So, barricades, take them down or move around them. And then they're just sitting ducks.
Thanks. I'll swing by with Porter later when he's feeling better. Take a look at that armory.
All right. Then he stands up and like takes a few steps and stops, turns back around and goes, I don't think it kind of goes without saying you never heard that from me, right?
I think Dex for a moment thinks about like trying to do the like suave cool thing that his mentor would do of like heard what, right? And it like gets sort of caught and jumbled up in his mouth. And he's just like, no, it's fine. And then he turns and walks away.
Cool. And with that, we'll cut back to Eloise.
I'm so sorry. I really want to cut back to Eloise, but before we do, can we publicly shout out Laura just really quick?
Laura the Bard!
Yeah, Laura.
Laura the Bard dropped
Unreal,
11,500 bits. Dear God. Laura, you're amazing. And with that, Laura just, I think, moved up. Her cheer badge got bigger, I think.
A mighty and powerful cheer badge indeed.
Yes. Fucking great. Laura and Ryak, y'all are crazy. Thank you so much, Laura. You're amazing.
We love y'all.
All right. We cut back to Eloise. Eloise, this room you find yourself in, you are strapped into a containment manacle, which you were horizontal and you're like kind of being like moved upward. It's like a containment manacle attached to like an arm. It has your arms and legs completely strapped. You can also feel all sorts of machinery and tech like attached to your like body or strapped to your body. You see monitors nearby you that you can immediately can tell are like reading your biometrics. And there's like little automated arms kind of moving around you, like kind of like changing the heads on their tools and so on. The room itself is moderately sized, octagonal room with at first glance you might think 4 doors that would lead in and out, but really quickly you can tell one of those 4 doors is different than the others. I forget, were you conscious when they brought you in here, or did you wake up in here? You woke up in here. Yeah. So the other doors, they look a lot like, there's 3 doors that look a lot like the similar like armored secured like blast doors that like make up this garrison. But one set is of doors is much bigger and like kind of a double set of doors, almost looking like it moves into like a larger hallway than a normal hallway. We'll say for the purposes of you kind of like being able to envision the room, it's octagonal shaped and the doors are at 1 o'clock. I forgot what a clock looks like. 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9.
12.
Yeah, 12. I said 1, but I meant 12. That's what threw me off probably at the very beginning when I was like 1.
1, 4, 7, and
1,
10.
4, 7, 10. Yeah, no.
It's a more efficient layout for science.
Yeah, basically making a crossroads through this room. So the room itself has tons of like extremely high tech scientific equipment, some of it bordering on like proto-martyr levels. Like the last time you were in a lab this sophisticated was in Ion Harbor for sure. This thing has like workstations for various different types of experiments. It has tons of monitors, tons of like cabinets with all sorts of like chemicals and tools and devices that are all used for various medical and like other scientific practices. You are brought up, and the lights kind of like shine on you. And I already described what Pruitt looks like, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So he stands there, gives you kind of a nothing smile as he says he has some questions for you, and then he turns around, pulls up a holographic display, presses a button, and you can see he's starting to record. And he goes, "Subject 61 baseline assessment exercise. Reports indicate the subject is a potent mentalist with impressive mundane cognitive function. Footnote A1A. Test potential relationship of cognitive acuity before deterioration of occipital lobe occurs." And then he like puts that footnote and like saves it into a separate file. And then he goes, "Ms. Reynolds, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Answer them to the best of your abilities, and try to compartmentalize any discomfort or pain you may feel." As he says that, a sharp pain hits like right in like your lower back on like the left side, like just a little bit to the left of the spine. You just feel as something like either a giant needle or a drill or something like punctures your body. And you feel like this, like your muscles immediately like tense around that, and like you like cramp like horribly as either something is injected or removed from you. And he goes, "How old are you?"
20.
I now need you to roll an endure test.
Okay. I forgot to get dice.
Not the dice, it's the character sheet. I mean, come on.
Well, I had to retire her other dice. They got her in a mess. Sorry, everybody. They're not retired forever. They're just retired from Eloise.
A mess that you repeatedly tried to put her in.
Yeah, but the difference is that she didn't get to choose it this time.
Sure.
Yeah, all the other times where she got to dictate, and instead this time she didn't get to do that. All right, I only need 3 dice for the roll right now. These are dying dice. I can't use those. Sorry. All right, these are good. These are good. These are good. These are hopeful dice. All right.
I have faith in these dice. These are the ones.
Dear. Okay. 777s, so that's 3 hits.
Okay, cool. You don't take any damage. At what age did you first tap into your luminescent powers?
I don't remember.
You feel like one of the devices on your arm like tighten and like twist your arm into like an uncomfortable position as another sharp pain drills into your shoulder. This one much more like small and acute. He goes, "Do you not remember because you were too young to remember?"
I've always been like this.
I need you to roll a negate test at a -2.
Oh no. 1 hit.
Okay. Would you like to become feeble-minded, or would you like to be under the effects of euphoria?
I don't know what feeble-minded is.
Feeble-minded makes it harder for you.
Allow me to tell you. Feeble-minded is -3 defense test against illuminated powers.
And
Oh.
Euphoria does make it so you recover hit points more quickly, but it does make you more susceptible to social influence.
No, I want that one.
You want Euphoria?
Yeah.
Cool. That sharp pain quickly subsides slightly as basically a numbing agent is injected into your body. The pain in your back becomes like, it's still there, but it's more like a really, really tight pressure. That is like unpleasant, but not as like horrifically painful as it was a moment ago. If you can't recall the earliest time, then tell me of the experience you had in the earliest time you can remember using your powers.
I I was lost and I was crying out for help telepathically.
And how long were you lost before you reached out with your mind?
I don't remember. I just remembered doing it.
He like rubs his forehead a little bit and composes himself. You realize that like one thing that's different between the Pruitt that you saw in Scruff's memories and this and like him now is like the like gray in his hair is much more pronounced everywhere where it is. But also like he just looks less healthy. Like his skin is more pallid, there's bigger bags under his eyes. He looks generally like more worn and weak than he did before. Just like slightly more disheveled and slightly more like, you know, almost like physically ill. And he goes, any further elaboration on that experience, Subject 61?
It's notable because I reached real far.
How far?
I was outside of Lonestead and I reached my daddy in Iron Harbor.
That piques his interest. And he like writes a few things like he has like kind of a he has his hand open and like a holographic like notepad is there, and he like writes some things really quick, like types them out, and then goes, right. And how long did that connection last for?
I was till he came and found me, so probably a day or two.
Puts that in his notes, slides them off. He watches it like kind of transfer over to like the device that is kind of controlling all of these like holographic displays. And then he goes, well, first I also need you to roll an endure test at a -2.
At a -2. I need to get another die. That's 3 hits.
Cool. You take no damage as you see that definitely something is being drawn from you as vials are being loaded up and another sharp pressure comes in almost identical on the like a little bit higher and on the right side of your spine on your back as another device starts like puncturing you, and you see the device on the right, which hasn't detached from you, is switching out vials as it looks like potentially blood is being moved to the side, but you're not 100% sure if it's blood or something else. And he goes, And what abilities are you currently aware of possessing?
I can detect life around me, and I have telepathy, and I can telekinesis, and if I'm touching somebody, I can read their thoughts. I can also find items if I know what I'm looking for, and I can I can see places that I'm not, and that's it. I think, and I'm real fast sometimes, not physically, but sort of like all my nerves go on fire, and I can like move faster, like think faster, and
He sits there for a second. You see that he's stopped listening to you at some point. Through like you kind of going off. And he goes, kind of like snaps back to it and goes, right. Footnote 2A. Subject is capable of detecting items given sufficient information. Run experiment. What number is it now? 74. On detect item. And then he moves his hand, and that footnote gets saved into another file. Right. Now, can you describe how you draw on these powers and what physical sensations accompany them?
is Mr. Gurley okay?
Answer the question, Subject 61.
Um, uh, my eyes glow, and sometimes my hands glow. If like mostly with the telekinesis.
Like, leans against a table, slightly seeming like frustrated. He goes, I didn't ask what appearances you had. I asked what physical sensation. From where do you draw your power?
I'm I think about it. I just turn it on. It ain't like a feeling. It's I want it to happen and it does. I guess it's sort of a mixture of will and knowledge. Every time I've ever wanted to do something, I could.
Do you feel a warmth, a jolt of energy, a numbing sensation anywhere in your body?
Only when I go too far. And then it burns.
He his eyes like kind of move down to like you're pretty much healed but still kind of like cracked like skin on your face. And he goes, "You do that often?"
When I need to. You don't look well, Mr. Pruitt.
Never mind my health. Another needle like jabs into your neck. I need you to roll negate at a -4.
At a -4?
Mm-hmm.
Go at strongest 3 or 2? 3? Okay, I will spend 3 grit. Go at strong for 2 hits.
Okay. You are fine. As you feel a cold sensation move into your neck, but whatever is in your veins is currently not affecting you. He walks away, kind of recomposing himself.
Mr. Pruitt. You're never gonna do what you want because you're serving two masters.
He
You don't know what you want.
he reaches over, touches a device, presses a button, and you take 3 hit point damage as the collar around your neck electrocutes you.
3 hit point damage?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a sharp, like your entire body like tenses up and like convulses against the like needles and drills that are in your body right now. Like it is painful. And like that like shock kind of like not only like goes around your neck, but also like focuses into your spine by the needle of the mind cuff.
That aggressive behavior indicates fear. Are you afraid of me or the truth?
I'm just trying to let you understand what will happen if you do not comply with my instructions.
Oh, I died already.
Now that was a low charge.
Okay.
I have more questions for you. You're doing well so far. Lasted longer than a lot of other people. We don't have time for you to sit here and think you have options.
Oh, I know I have options. I'm just not willing to give them to you.
I need you to roll an endure test at a -4.
Okay. Man, I'm getting so lucky. A -4 is not. Okay.
I will say, as you're resolving this roll, Laura the Bard and Argetlon both gave you 1 grit, so you are up to 5 grit now.
Thank you. Okay. That is 3 successes.
Okay, you don't take any damage. As like the devices seem to move deeper into your body and like your body gets kind of like moved a little bit as like the containment manacles like reposition you for like more devices to like begin like extracting stuff from you. Have you ever experienced a time where an ability you were familiar with presented in an unusual way?
No.
How many other illuminated individuals have you crossed paths with in your life?
Well, since you drive everybody into hiding, I imagine more than I know.
Have you? How many other illuminated individuals have you coexisted with for extended periods of time?
Known or unknown?
His hand thumbs over the button. He goes, answer the question to the best of your abilities.
These are unscientific, sir. How long is an extended period? Is it greater than 24 hours? Greater than a week? A month?
I understand that you
What
are
are your parameters?
quite intelligent. I imagine you can make your best guess. Last chance. Answer the question.
1. Just Mr. Curly.
His thumb moves away from the button. And as he asks this other question, I'm going to have you roll another endure test. This time, which question is this? Still at a -4.
Okay.
As he says, how many other illuminated individuals, or how many times have you taken the life of another illuminated individual?
I got 2 hits.
Okay, you take 2 damage, 1 to your hit point and 1 to your shine.
Okay.
As a third device, this time this one's like, it's like a joint device that like goes right behind your knees and like clamps onto them.
Mm.
It's not quite a needle sensation as it is like these like tight clamps that like grab onto the sides of your knees from behind.
Um, um, can you repeat the question?
How many times have you taken the life of another individual, of another illuminated individual?
What?
He looks almost slightly surprised at that, if still very weary.
You made me.
Subject 61, this is the first time we've ever crossed paths, to my knowledge. How many times have you taken the life of a non-illuminated individual?
It's 0, right? I don't think I've killed anybody.
You dropped a cave on 8 people.
Oh, right. I do count those people. 8.
I need you to roll an endure test at a -6.
Oh my god. I'm gonna spend 2 grit play to the gallery.
Okay.
And then both of these explode. That one explodes too.
Jesus.
Okay, that's it. So it's a 4.
It's a 4. Okay. You take no additional damage. As he actually looks over and like the machines are whirring and like they're collecting sample after sample from you. And he like walks over to one of the devices and like looks at some of the samples and then seems to get frustrated as he turns back to you. And then sits there for a second and goes, when you have depleted yourself of all illuminated energy, how long does it typically take for you to return to 100% capacity?
2 days at the most.
What is your experience when you unlock or discover a new illuminated power?
It just works.
His like teeth tense at that. Like
Do yours not work like that, sir?
he moves over and calibrates one of the machines, and I need you to roll an endure test at a -8.
Okay. Now I fail.
You get a grit from the chat as Ryak says this is a tough quiz. And I'm going to bamboozle you twice, so you're at an additional -2.
What? Okay. Okay.
So that makes it a -10.
Yeah. Okay.
And you
So-
get grit.
Yeah.
I had
And you're up to 6 grit, but you can only use 4 of it on this test.
I can only use
2 of it is in transition to you right now.
2 grit on the stack.
there is 2 grit on the stack. We'll go it strong. And I have 3 hits.
Okay, you can't get rid of the -2 I gave you when you go it strong.
I have a 6,
So,
a 2, and a 1.
Going
so
it strong
it's fine.
leaves you at a -2. Okay, cool. How many hits? How many successes?
3.
3? Okay. You take 4 damage, 2 of which goes to your hit points and 2 of which goes to your shine.
Okay.
He walks over to you as like the machines like dig in tighter and like you can feel like blood running down your legs and back. Your vision becomes like kind of blurred. He looks at like the results, looks at like the samples coming out, looks back at you, and he goes, "Well, I'll be damned. Schaefer didn't lie." And he turns up the device and presses the button. And you take 12 damage directly to your hit points, non-lethal, so it stops at 0.
Okay. I don't have that many hit points, so I'm out.
Yeah, you black out. Gus!
Gus needs to get the hell out of here.
Arget Lum, I'm definitely going to go get a whiskey when I'm done with this.
I might too, just watching this shit.
Yeah, for real. Jesus.
Hey, before you get to Gus, Tommy, you're very creepy.
Yay! Thank
mhm,
you.
yep.
You're doing a good job, and I hate it.
Good, I'm glad. All right, Gus, it's mealtime.
Oh, how a quick question. How long has it been since the last fight in the Punch Peaks? In terms of rests.
Oh, you've gotten 2 rests. You've gotten 2 rests. Well, no, sorry, you've gotten 4 rests. You rested all the way up from like because you were in transit, being like taken. You were like medically put to sleep, but you still rested during that time.
Okay, cool. It's been 4 rests. Amazing.
Yeah, you're totally reset, 100%. And then
Okay.
and I can't remember if you lost some hit points yesterday, but you've had a rest since then. So,
Cool. I don't
um,
think it did. I don't know.
I don't know. You got in a bit of a fight. I guess you didn't get in a fight. They pointed a bunch of
Did I?
guns at you. Eloise got in a fight. Okay. So it's mealtime. Gus.
Amazing.
Private Ralston walks in. Same deal. They say back against the wall. I assume you comply. If not, I need to know because that changes Ralston's reaction when he walks in to set the food down.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
He's back against the wall. He's
Cool.
cooperating.
Food down on the center. Doors shut behind Ralston as he walks in. He sets down the food and he puts his back to the door, and crosses his arms respectfully in front of him and says, "You can eat." And then he looks down at your like arms and goes, "All right." And he like steps forward and he like grabs like the like basically like paper mache fork that's like dissolving in the slush already to like help feed you.
How is it today, Ralston? Y'all ate before me?
Well, my meals after this one.
Well, yeah.
We gotta do it in shifts, you know.
Well, here. Go ahead and give me a bite, and I'll give you a review.
Sir, I can't. I'll be well fed here in about an hour.
No, give me a bite. I'll tell you how it is.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like, here, just eat my food. So yeah, he kind of chuckles at that and reaches out and you take a bite. It's edible. I think the worst part is the fork, which is like already losing its structural integrity in the mush.
Ralston, what's your favorite meal they got in here?
On the weekends, they have stuff that's a little less wet. I like that.
Yeah, I was gonna guess this one. It.
Yeah, you're right, sir. You're right. I can't imagine it. It's that good, given it's past its serve by date, probably.
Oh well, that's. I mean, suppose it is what it is, but yeah, it don't taste like there was a Best Buy for this stuff.
I can guarantee you there weren't.
Yeah.
And he continues to feed you as you guys talk.
How are you getting out, Ralston?
Excuse me?
You said you're trying to transfer out of here. I don't know. I ain't never been the smart one. in any group of people, more than one, I ain't never been a smart one. I've been sitting here puzzling about how you're talking about transferring out of here and getting new detail, figuring that out. I was just wondering, how are you going to do it? So I've been puzzling here, and I can't think of anything.
No, I mean, eventually the paperwork will come through. It's just, it's a long line, and there's a lot of, kind of debriefings you got to go through to leave a place like this. So, I mean, eventually, the system will work out.
Sure. You'll be the first one to leave here.
I think probably other people have transferred. I mean, I see new faces from time to time, and they ain't just adding people, right? People got to be retiring and moving on. I mean, that's the whole point.
I mean, I guess. I mean, you see new faces. That's all well and good, but I suppose the real proof would be seeing an old face, right?
I see them too. I mean, I guess I asked around, but I mean, people they do their tour. I mean, if the paperwork don't go through, I mean, I only have another 9 months before I'm supposed to be able to go on leave.
That's pretty nice. That's that's pretty good. 9 months, that ain't so bad. But I don't know. You remember what I told you the other day, right?
Which part?
We searched around for folks who'd been in Brimstone and left. Right? Or what we was doing out there.
Well, that was captives, right?
That was anybody. We ain't never found nobody who left.
I mean, it's not like you'd necessarily be able to find them. They'd still be in the militia. They ain't. No one's going around. Probably part of the debriefing is an oath of silence on what goes on around here, right? I mean, it's got to be something like that.
Sure, but they probably I don't know. They probably document all that stuff and put it in this database or whatever.
I mean, maybe. I wouldn't know.
Look, I mean, that's the whole point. I don't either. I don't know. I'm concerned about you. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to call you Alf. You're Ralston. Private first class Ralston.
You don't have to go that far, sir. I mean, sir, there ain't no. You're the one here in the cell. I mean, look, I ain't necessarily all the way comfortable with the operations around here, but that don't mean that don't mean you have any cause to be concerned for me. I mean, I'm a good soldier. I'm doing my job. You're the one who's in a bad spot, not me.
Sure. I mean, you ever raise chickens?
Can't say that I have, sir.
You may be able to tell by me, but I came up on a farm. I raised my number of chickens of my day. Hodags, and we had hodags around. We had cows, we had pigs, we had all sorts of stuff. The chickens I always felt bad for, We had all our animals, we loved them, we cared for them, but they had to stay on the farm. That was sort of the deal, right? The hodags, the cows, the pigs. They knew they were here. They knew they couldn't leave. Chickens I felt bad for. So they didn't know they was trapped.
That's an eerie thing to say, sir.
Yeah. Never sat quite well with me either. Of course, they were on their way to the chopping block to feed us. The end of it wasn't too good for them either, but hey, that's life on the farm, I suppose.
You say they're on the chopping block to feed us, and against his like just like instinctively his eyes flit down to the food and then back to you. Then he shakes his head a little bit. He's like, I don't know what you're getting on about here, sir. Are you done eating for?
Yeah, hey, you take half that bread. You toss the other half in my mouth. That half's yours.
I mean, it's gonna go in the trash, sir. If you want, you can eat the whole thing.
They won't let me break bread with someone I talk with.
No, sir, that wouldn't be proper.
Suppose not. Suppose they got a lot of things around here that proper or they ain't. Then I mean, twist my arm. I'll take the whole bread, Ralston. I mean, you ain't gotta convince me twice about it. Threaten me with a good time. Yeah, go ahead and pop that thing. I might be able to actually just sort of toss it in.
Oh, please. Like awkward exchange of bread to mouth. And then he stands up with the tray, kind of like brushes himself off a little bit, and he goes, manacles ain't too tight. I mean, it's not like I can do anything about it, but seems rude not to ask.
You know, they are what they are. They're here to do what they do, and they're doing it. Suppose I shouldn't have had the other one come loose, I guess.
They're gonna come for you tonight, I think.
After dinner or before?
Before. Gonna take you to talk to Doctor. I don't know what goes on in there, but my understanding is it goes better for them that cooperate. So maybe just cooperate. Maybe don't give them no guff.
I don't know, Ralston. I ain't in the business of giving guff, but them chickens that cooperated and them chickens that didn't cooperate, they all ended up on the plate one way or another, right?
Well, I guess some of them ended up on the plate sooner than others, so by the time you can, I don't have much for you, sir. I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks, Ralston. I appreciate it.
He like gestures for you to put your back against the wall, and then he knocks 3 times on the door. It opens up, he walks out, and it shuts behind him. Porter and Dex! What's going on at Waypoint?
So we met this guy, and he was like, I own a whole mercenary company. It's totally legal, and our thing is we love to fight the Fort Dearborn militia.
Yeah.
And so he's got like 30 tanks.
I
and,
got
like,
to
12
stop you right there.
planes.
He definitely
True
is an
story.
illegal mercenary company then.
He says he's from Blenspire, and he's not.
Ah, yes, the fabled 9th factory town.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that all the tanks said Blenspire Militia on the side, and the B looked new, but like.
Yeah, so I mean, Porter, you're suffering from your side effects for I forget, all of them are long lasting, right? So like probably mid-afternoon, everything but the durability loss fades away.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
Yeah.
I think at whatever point the Dex comes back, Porter is just sitting at a table with as much food as he can probably fit on it, and is just shoveling it into his mouth.
You look like you're feeling better.
I'll feel better after I finish this, that's for sure.
We should meet with the mayor when you're ready.
Oh, yeah. They're just and I think he just drains the little cup of his Porter feel good concoction or whatever. I don't think it had a name. And he chugs that down and kind of like crumples up his napkin. It's like, I'll be back for the rest of this later. Can you pack it up for me?
Sure.
Cheers. Yeah, let's go. I might take a little bit longer than I usually do, but we'll get there.
It's fine. Take your time.
Yeah, he looks much, much better than he did before, but he seems to be moving just a little bit more weakly. As if he's just a little more frail than he was before.
Somehow, almost like it, I'll never be the same again.
On our way over, I'll say to Porter, I spoke with the sheriff. He's been persuaded not to come with us.
Oh.
But he's offered up a look at his armory. Anything inside. So I told him you and I'd swing by after we spoke with the mayor, see if there's anything we can use.
I hesitate to say that I'm disappointed in that. I almost counted on him being there, guns blazing.
Well, yeah. I'd take a handful of gunslingers any day, but we'll get what we can get. And
Of course.
he seems committed to helping the mayor out. He said he knows some folks who might be willing to take on a job this dangerous.
No. Well, if he's got people and some tech we can use, I guess that's all I can ask for. That's still mighty generous of him.
Yeah.
Cool. And you guys head over to the mayor's office?
Yeah.
Yes.
Secretary on duty sees you two come in and goes, "Howdy. Mayor's been expecting you.
Great.
You can go on in."
Thank you. We head in.
And you see Alex Graves sitting there. She's writing like she's like writing on nothing, and like next to her, like where she has basically an LRC terminal that is like wired from the tower all the way to her office. Like letters are popping up as she is like writing. And she turns and like clicks the pen that doesn't have any ink, and when she clicks the pen, the screen turns off. And then she puts it in her like little pen holder.
That's neat.
And she goes, "Have a seat. What do you got for me?"
And I'll put the Omni tool on the table and like bring up the display of like Scruff's map that Eloise turned into a thing.
Mhm.
So Scruff tunneled out here, and I'll like point to where it was. And he climbed in between the wall. Now, I don't know if this tracks, but you served in the militia, so maybe you have a better sense. The first thing you would do is you would reinforce the wall before you rebuilt the plumbing in your garrison to remove that crawl space, right?
That seems about right. I mean, most they would probably be able to achieve is fill that place with more concrete, but that would make any plumbing issues real doozy to fix up.
So my thought is Scruff's way out might still be our best way in. But we're going to need to be able to cut through whatever's on the other side of that.
Might need to be worried about what's on Scruff's side of it, too. I mean, they could have built up a new structure around there in the 2 years since this fella broke out. They may have increased patrols around that area to prevent anything like this from happening again. I mean, if they know where they have a weak spot, they're going to try and shore that up, and they've had the time to do it.
Sure. So then here's our problem. Neither of us have been there. No one we know has been there. Well, no one we know with an intact enough mind has been there.
Mm.
I don't see how we can tackle this without getting a better look. And to do that, we got to be able to move undetected pretty close next to Brimstone.
All right.
I mean, we can plan for whatever, but we don't have a way in yet. I don't see how we find a way in without taking a look.
Well, Brimstone's pretty far away. I mean, I can get you passage on a nomad pack that'll get you nearby, and you can go the rest of the way on foot or horseback and crawl in as quiet as possible, stake the place out for as long as you need to. I also could arrange for potentially a flyover or two, but Dearborn, after the Proto-Martyr crisis, Fort Dearborn got a lot more strict about its airways around its bases. So, any aircraft detected too close to the garrison will be shot down without much warning.
How close could we get to it?
Depends on how much you're willing to risk. You could get a distant flyby, no problem. You won't be able to see much detail, but you could see it on the horizon. If you're
I'm more thinking.
wanting something closer, I mean, one, it will cost you because you'll need a pilot and a plane that's willing to do it. And then 3, I mean, they could just, if they catch you, they shoot.
I do think ground reconnaissance, like you're saying, Dex, does make more sense. But I was more thinking, maybe we could hire a plane just to get us there.
I mean, that's easy enough, sure.
This is what we got so far. Regardless of what we're trying to accomplish inside Brimstone, the longer they don't know we're there, the easier it is to do it. So, if you've got supplies or people that can help, or hell, even do it themselves with us, move through Brimstone undetected, the further we're in, when they find out we're there, the more we can accomplish. If we can get far enough that we can grab Eloise and Gus, my guess is we're far enough that we can grab some of their records too. Leave with evidence.
Stands to reason.
All right. Well, you need quick transit to nearby to move in on foot. I can arrange that. I mean, Chafee's in town. He fellow that owns probably the fastest plane I ever seen. So
That's great.
He can get you there quick. He's a little.
Oh, I've heard.
You know, she like wiggles her hand like side to side, like skeptically. But end of the day, he does the job.
Okay. That'll help.
Anything else you need? I mean, I got some spurs I have enough funding and enough pull around here that I can get you some people, I can get you some supplies, whatever you need, you let me know. Or you just tell, I already put out word that y'all got a tab running on me. So
I commissioned Rose blacksmithing for a photo replicant poncho, but Porter could use one too.
All right.
I don't know if anyone has one on hand. Time is a factor, but
I mean, Rose is going to be able
anybody.
Loretta is going to be able to get it done pretty much as fast as anyone else, and definitely at the best damn quality you can expect.
That's the feeling I got.
But if she's going to go to work on that, then you're saying you need You need to put the second one on the tab.
Yeah.
That's easy enough to do. No problem.
Any
Swing by there and tell her.
Will do.
and anyone that you know who has experience in infiltration or even just getting into spaces people don't want to get into?
Yeah, Fly and I put our heads together and we poked around town, and we know a few people who are either in town or in transit to town, knowing that y'all didn't want to spend too much time waiting and looking.
Cheers.
So there's Chafee. He's got a plane. Depending on what you need him to do, should be fine. But if it's just a quick drop off, that ain't nothing. But if you need him for more than just dropping you off nearby, then that's a whole different deal. He can do it, but it factors into how much I can pull for you. We figured you probably needed someone who could fight pretty good. We know a fella named Arthur Ross. He's in town right now. Ex-mercenary, ex-militia. Fucker ran around with the no-good militia for a little while. Before they were called something else, I don't remember. But they, he's been in the thick of it more than a few times. I mean, you won't find another seasoned vet. And he ain't too old, so you don't have to worry about that. He started too young, some might say.
Mayor Graves, we're sneaking into Fort Dearborn garrison. Everybody's got to be good in a fight.
Oh, please. I know. I'm saying this guy, that's his one thing.
Oh, good.
I ain't
we
said
can
it-
definitely use something else as well.
I ain't recommending you no one that won't be able to walk out of that place alive given the chance. As far as someone who's good at being quiet, I got Lucille Roberts. She's on the next train heading here right now. She did some time with the family and, pulled off more than a few heists from what I can tell. Of course, she's fully reformed now. Ain't no reason to worry about nothing. Then we got Jess Weaver if you need a tinkerer on site. If you need stuff in town, people who live here should be able to take care of you. But if you're wanting someone to be able to whip something together with you in the field, that's that. And then Oscar McCoy, depending on what exactly your plan is, if you're planning on staking out there for a little while, it's not as easy as it seems. Garrison's remote. You got to be camping out, surviving in the wild. There's beasts and storms and whatnot that would get on your get you all beat up before you even walk through the door. So Oscar McCoy knows that place in the Badlands, that area of the Badlands real well. And way I hear it, he just got back into town. And fellow owes me some favors. Now, it doesn't mean he'll do it for free, but it does mean he'll do it on short notice.
All right. Yeah. This sounds good.
Oh, and then there's demolitions. If you're talking about trying to break through some kind of pipe or whatnot, and you need someone who knows their way around explosives and breaking down structures, there's Parappa. She's a fucking beast with those things. I mean, you need quiet entry, you need a loud entry, you need carpet bombs. She's got it all.
Could come in useful, especially for a literal militia garrison.
So depending on if you wanted to go loud or if you wanted precise detonations, she knows a lot. Now I have to send for her. She's visiting her folks up in the Malachites. So she's up there. I know how to get a hold of her, but it'll probably be a couple days before she comes back. But I can pay her price, and again, she owes me enough of a favor to do it on short notice.
Could she meet us there?
Depends on when you would need her to arrive, but yeah.
One more thing I hadn't thought of. It might be useful in getting out. Tommy, remind me, we have Truman's LRC tag, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't necessarily FPC enough to count on them for long. But we have contacts there. And if they know we're making a move against Brimstone, they'll want to be a part of it. And in my experience, I mean, it's going to complicate things. I've never seen them do anything quiet. But big illuminated show out front might make it a lot easier for us to work in the shadows behind.
Well, if you're going to coordinate something like that, let me know. That's on you. I mean, I don't have any contacts in the FPC. Not really. I have a few people who've worked with them from time to time, but no one with lasting contacts like you claim to have. But if you think you can call them to force, could be useful.
It's less of lasting contacts and more of their pie in the sky target of choice.
Sure. Well, none of the people I recommended would have an issue with that kind of plan. Hell,
Okay.
Ross would probably like it.
That does remind me. Are any of the people you suggested illuminated themselves? I just think about it because they're putting themselves in more danger on this job than another.
Well, I didn't try to omit any candidates that were illuminated, but I kept that in mind when I made my choices, and none of these folks got powers. At least they never let me know they had powers.
Sure.
I figured it was best to avoid sending anyone who was likely to get nabbed up like your friends. Because if this goes sideways, you just die. And I find that preferable.
I agree with you there. Saying what the result has been of staying there, I 100% agree.
My thoughts as well. You're right there, Janus.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Now, you don't look too good.
No, I don't feel great, but I'm getting better. Getting better a little bit at a time.
She raises an eyebrow at Dex.
He took an experimental combat drug without the booster for the come down.
I don't. How many people have you been telling about that? It's just a thing. It's a small thing.
Only people who ask.
Mm.
Do you have another dose, Janus?
Boy, do you ask.
Because if you have another dose, that's useful. And obviously you shouldn't be taking another one.
Oh, useful for making the. What's my brain's a little bit scrambled.
It's evidence.
Oh, yeah. Here, I can take that.
You just have it. Were you? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I?
I figured it was.
You were
safer
thinking
on-
maybe you might want to
no,
in a
it was
pinch.
safer on my person than it
Yeah.
would be in whatever.
Yeah, she like puts it in
another.
She puts it in a drawer, like shuts it and locks the drawer.
I do also kind of, if I can just like airdrop my notes and information on what I know about it, can I give that to her?
Yeah.
I guess they've probably been I've updated them since breakfast.
You
from
looked at all
my
this
first
and you
experience.
thought, might as well, huh?
Well, some of it I didn't know until after I'd taken it. So
Right. Okay. Question is still even more valid, actually.
it wasn't so
Aren't
much.
you a doctor, Janus?
Not that kind of doctor.
All
How
right.
many kinds of doctors are there?
Oh, there's a bunch.
Huh.
Yeah, go to Markham's Landing. They'll tell you all about them. They won't shut up.
Yeah, that's true. We do that. That's true. Oh no, mostly self-taught. Which in a situation like this, I didn't have a lot of expertise in experimental combat drugs, and the decision to take it wasn't exactly a logical one in the first place.
Right. Well, let this be a valuable lesson to you.
Right. Yeah.
If it don't have side effects that don't take it.
That's fair enough. I'll keep that one in mind.
She like looks at you like a disappointed mother. Like
I think Dex sort of cuts through that. That's a good idea. Any first aid supplies you've got,
Damn.
Porter can start turning them into tonics.
Yep. You can run a tab at O'Donovan's, but eventually I'll have to cut you off if you go too crazy.
Oh no, just as many as we need. No more than that. No less. But no more.
All right. Well, O'Donovan's just like the rest of them. They all know that you guys have free reign to run a tab. I'd say at this point, now it depends on how many of the folks I recommend you want to take. If you don't have a decision on that, that's fine. You can take your time. But
I'm inclined to be prepared for every eventuality. I've bought, well, not the militia, but guys with their stuff hopped up on their drugs, outnumbered, and in a bad spot. I'd rather have more people on my side this time.
all right. Well, if you're taking the whole everyone I thought might be useful, I don't have a whole lot more to offer you. I mean, their fees are gonna eat up what I can achieve, and that and the poncho you need from Loretta. I'd say probably if you rack up somewhere around 30 to 50 more spurs worth of stuff around town, that'll tap me out. It's hard to say because Weaver's a little bit uncertain because Weaver's probably going to charge me after the fact for materials. That's how she tends to do business. She's usually has a flat rate, and then she goes, I spent this many materials on this job, pay up. And sometimes I can get Winslow Kaysen at the general store to work something out with her, but not all the time. So she's a little bit of a gray area when it comes to financing.
I'm not the most educated guy, but I have a hard time imagining what gear we could take that's better than another expert in the field with us.
All right. Well, then consider yourself having about 40 more spurs to spend in town after
Okay.
the poncho.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. That's quite generous.
It is. But hopefully, y'all make it worthwhile. I don't know. Something about you. I think maybe, just maybe, y'all can pull this off and do some good.
That's what we're here to do.
You have words with the sheriff?
I spoke with him.
Mm-hmm. He ain't none too happy. But I imagine he'll be useful one way or another, no matter what.
He's already offered a little bit of help.
Sounds right. Well, whatever you arrange with him, that can stay between you and him. I don't need to be privy to it.
All right.
Understood.
Well, we won't take up more of your time. Now.
She smiles and nods and like gestures to the door as she pulls out the pen, clicks it, the screen lights up, and she starts writing again.
Sure.
And Mayor Graves, thank you. And Porter holds out his hand for a handshake.
She shakes your hand.
Thank you. And he leaves awkwardly.
She just like shrugs at that, nods, sits back, and goes back to writing.
All right, Porter. We got maybe a way in.
Mm-hmm.
We got some people to help us while we're in there. How do you think we get out?
Well, this Chafee seems to have a fast plane. I think if we can get to a rendezvous point, we can escape quickly enough. Especially if we have a distraction. Is there any possibility of getting in and getting out without being noticed?
I mean, I'm not that old, but I've seen some stuff. I wouldn't say anything's impossible.
I know at the very least, once we get to Eloise, she might be able to locate some of the things for us. Although I don't know what kind of state her and Gus are going to be when we arrive.
And they've got to have vehicles there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to say where they'd be located in relation to the lab.
If we're taking the time for reconnaissance, maybe we can plan out an exit strategy with observation. You know, if we have the opportunity to take one of their vehicles, we take it. If we don't have that opportunity, maybe we have a plan B, plan C, plan F, whatever.
Sure. We got to decide now.
Yep.
Talking to Truman, though.
Do you really think getting the FBC involved is the best idea? I mean, it just brings us back to the Raven.
I don't trust Riggs.
No.
And I don't trust that Truman thinks it's fine to not have to worry about what you do if your cause succeeds. But I think they're going to take the fight to Brimstone one way or another. And if that can be helpful in rescuing our friends, I'd hate to waste it.
That's fair. What do we give up in the process to get them there? Do you think we just say, hey, attack the Brimstone garrison on this day, we're going to be there, and they'll just do it?
I mean, I think if we tell them we've got a team, we're going to go in quiet and make sure that, I don't know. I don't know, Porter. I'm not much for lying to get people to do what I want. I think Leo Riggs wants to fight Brimstone. I think if we tell him we got people that we're going to go fight Brimstone, he'll show up.
Then my only question is there any reason at all that Leo Riggs would want to sabotage us? Is there any reason that he would try to make this his own advantage and take us out of the equation?
Maybe. But he's not going to have the time to assemble the people to do it. I mean, it sounds like with this, what's his name? Chafee?
Yep.
Is this plane there in a day or less? Camp out, take a look for a couple days. And then I don't want to wait longer than that if we don't have to. I mean, you saw how the FPC can move without notice. They can get one guy where they want him to be. I think for this, Leo might try and move heaven and earth, but it doesn't strike me as an organization that can muster an army on short notice. But I think he might be. I think Leo Riggs might think the same way as me, that if someone else is going to fight Brimstone, he'd hate to waste the opportunity.
Like you said, anything that'll help us in the process. I'll reach out. I'll not give them more information. I'll give them honestly as little information as I can. But enough to get them to our cause.
Sounds good.
Last thing I guess would be to go to the general store after that.
Oh, we gotta go see the sheriff. See what's in that armory.
Yeah, fair enough. I can send the message and meet you there then.
Sure.
You guys split. Porter, you actually can walk a bit because there is a way to get to the LRC tower on the north side of town. Here's a map.
I think before we split, I will actually hand Porter my LRC tag. I don't think I have any messages. If you see one from a woman named Isabel, print it out for me.
Of course.
Thanks.
Cool. You guys walk. Dex, you split off to head up to the sheriff's office. Porter, you keep walking and then turn right to go down the steps on the hill there to the LRC tower. Meanwhile, we're gonna cut to Gus. Hey, Gus.
Hey, Tommy. Oh my God, how are you doing? I hear so much about you. You're like the omnipotent god that runs my fate, right?
There's first off, Gus, you get +1 grip from Laura the Bard.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that.
And then there's a knock on your door and they say back against the wall.
All right.
And you back up, they walk up, and they inject you with extremely potent sleep tonic. Do you want to try and resist it, or do you just want to wake up in the lab?
I want to try to resist.
Okay. Go ahead and roll negate at a -8.
Oof. That's almost all that I have. Yeah, that ain't gonna do it.
Oh, you fall
In
asleep.
fact,
You're just gonna be asleep for the whole thing.
yeah, they can't get me up. Suck it.
No.
It doesn't matter. It is a grave misfire.
It is a grave misfire.
It's wild when you give me a -8 how likely that is.
Gus, they inject you with the thing. You fall asleep. You wake up sometime later. And whatever they injected you with has definitely left you feeling way more woozy than you would expect. With that grave misfire, Gus, you are going to be.
This is why would I even try?
I asked.
What if you did it?
I offered to.
What if you did it and they were like, get the rhino tranquilizers?
Yeah, you were like, oh, do you want to roll negate? And I was like, I've got 10 negate. I'll roll. And then you were like, roll for 2s. And I was like, well, all right. And one of these dice have to be 20 for a grave misfire? Oh, well, okay.
Let me see here. Doop. Cool. You're going to be at a -3 to all tests, as the effects of the drug they injected you with, either it was like an extra potent dose or your body just didn't process it fully. So when you wake up, you haven't fully shaken the side effects of it. And because of that, you're going to be at a -3 to all tests. Keep that in mind because I'm going to give you other negatives, as we saw with Eloise, and that will be stacked up together.
I'll just crit fail the first one, and then he won't get to ask me any more questions.
So Gus, you painfully, like your eyes feel like they're like pulsing behind, like there's like a pulse behind your eyes and your skull. The lights seem incredibly bright, and you look around and you see the form of Ulysses Pruitt stepping around from some equipment as you get raised up to an upright position. And he looks up at you and he goes, Mr. Gurley, pleased to make your acquaintance. I'm going to ask you a few questions. And that's where we're going to take a break. Let's see. I got 10:20 on the clock. I'll see y'all around 10:35. We're going to take a 15-minute break. See you guys then. Bye. Refresh your drinks. Do the stuff. All the cool stuff. Also, I see everyone's very excited in the chat. And Dan, you have a direct question in the chat. We'll be back.
I answered it.
right, we're back. We're back. And those of you who are just now joining us, Eloise went through a horrific experience talking to Ulysses Pruitt in his lab as he conducted experiments on her and asked her a bunch of questions. Meanwhile, Dex and Porter began forming their plan, collecting potentially a team of drifters and some gear so that they could move on Brimstone and potentially rescue their companions. The last thing that happened was that Gus was dosed with a sleep tonic to be transported into the lab. And as he woke up, he realized he had grave misfired on his negate test against that sleep tonic. So he's at a -3 for all tests going into the experience he's about to have now. So, Gus, you find yourself in an octagonal shaped room with 4 doors that may be entrances, maybe exits.
If you had to describe them based on the clock, where are they?
Well, they'd be at like 2:30 and noon 369. I got it. All right. And ahead of you is Ulysses Pruitt. He turns to you again, similar to what Eloise saw. He looks a little worse for wear. The gray in his hair is a little more pronounced. He doesn't look necessarily like feeble or anything like that. Like, he doesn't look like so weak that it's hard for him to move, but he does look less well than he'd looked before. And as he turns away from you, he activates a device in a hologram that you can assume is recording as he says, Subject 62, baseline assessment exercise 1. Reports indicate the subject is a potent somatic. Footnote 1A. Review and accelerate procedure to divorce mundane and illuminated contributions to the subject's above average physical form. He turns back to you.
Doc, I don't feel good.
Just trying to answer my questions to the best of your ability, son.
I think they messed up the dosage in the thing. You gotta fix a dose or whatever.
I have just the thing. You feel a sharp pain in your lower back. Jolts you a little bit to wake, if not like fully like snapping you out of your grogginess. Now you just have 2 terrible things happening. You're groggy and in pain.
Well, I guess medicine tastes bad. It's like it tastes bad, but for my body.
How old are you?
I'm 53. I can't remember what I've said before.
What age did you first tap into your luminescent powers?
I was 5 or 6.
Describe that experience. As you describe that experience, I need you to roll an endure test at a -2.
That explodes. That's 2 successes.
Okay. You're okay. You don't take any additional damage. He asks you to describe that experience.
Yeah, we were working on the farm, and one of the hodags, I hurt its leg, but we needed to get the field plowed, and it couldn't pull the plow, and it was sick and it was injured, but we needed the plow done so we could seed the next morning, and I didn't want it to have to work, and so I grabbed the plow myself, and my daddy, he sort of chuckled at me, and so I was, all of 60 pounds and trying to push this big old rusty plow, and I started pushing, and it started glowing, and it started working, because I guess I just wanted to help.
What abilities are you currently aware of possessing?
I get stronger, and sometimes I turn into rocks, and I can jump. I can jump really far, and sometimes I can see at night. One time I ran across a pond.
Go ahead and roll a negate test at a -2.
Cool. Negate test. No successes.
Cool. You become affected by euphoria and feeble-minded. So that pain that you're feeling becomes a little more dulled. But you are going to be at additional negatives to resist social influence. And also you are going to be at additional negatives to resist luminescent powers.
Okay. In that case, the power that Gus did not want to get to, he immediately divulges. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I ain't do it too much because it hurts, but sometimes I can just zap myself to somewhere else."
Footnote 2A. Subject has ability to blink long distances. Consider potentially running through the same subject treatment as subject 23 with augmentations to increase control. That footnote goes away. And then he goes,
Okay, this one's working a little bit, I think. I'm starting to feel a little better.
like, yeah, that drill in your like lower back now is just like an uncomfortable pressure instead of a horrifying pain.
It's like numb. Is this like a dentist?
A bit.
All right. Okay. Are you gonna work on my teeth at all? I did not like the dentist.
Describe how you draw on your powers and what physical sensations accompany them.
I don't know my how do I call them my powers? Just I don't know. I got their LRC. No, I don't have a LRC for my arms. Nah, I just I don't know. I think about what I want to have happen, and then sort of light shoots down, and my muscles they feel warm, like they do after like you put a lotion on them or you get a massage or something. I got a massage once at the carnival. It was good. It was weird, but it was good. And then my muscles feel good, and it's like they squeeze a little tighter. They spring a little farther.
Footnote 2A. Subject experiences luminescent power surging through the muscles. Coincides with other reports from other somatics. Further investigation required. You're doing real good there, Mr. Gurley. You're doing real good.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it.
Now, have you ever experienced a time where an ability you were familiar with presented itself in an unusual way?
Trying to think. Not really, no. Well, I guess I don't know. They're all a little unusual, ain't they?
I'm referring to a power you are familiar with operating in a way you are not expecting it to.
Oh. No, I ain't never had that. Sort of do what they do. Go where they go.
I need you to roll another endure test.
Minuses?
This one is at a -4. Plus your standing -3.
That's right. I've got reliability on these. I mean, not that it helps, but I have it. It's 2 successes.
Okay. You take 4 damage, 2 of which goes to your hit points, and 2 of which goes to your shine.
Cool.
As another sharp pressure pushes in on your right back a little higher than the other one, drilling in tight, and you start seeing these vials fill up. and be like removed from these devices automatically.
Doc,
Just
I
try to
need more
focus
numb.
yourself through the pain there, son. You're doing great. Keep it up.
I'm bigger, so I need more stuff in me sometimes.
Just listen to my words. How many other illuminated individuals have you crossed paths with?
I don't know. You? I don't know. The thing is, like, mostly you don't know them, right? Like, I knew a couple of them, but mostly you don't. I don't know. It's the sort of thing you gotta trust somebody to show them.
Like, marks some stuff down in his notes, and he goes, how many other illuminated individuals have you coexisted with for extended periods of time?
Just one, I suppose, that I knew of. I mean, no, only one. I would have known if my family is illuminated and they ain't. So, just one, just the one.
To be clear, you're referring to Ms. Reynolds?
Yeah.
He marks that down. How many times have you taken the life of another illuminated individual?
I don't know if they. None that I knew was illuminated, right?
Go ahead and roll an endure test. A -6.
Woo! Two of those are 19s. There's an 18 and two 19s. Wants me to do that again. But the re-roll's the 20.
The reroll doesn't give you the
I know.
misfire.
It's just I've swapped out the dice entirely, and these ones still want me dead.
So no successes?
No. Is it the dice tray that wants me dead? Footnote C. Require further testing.
You take 6 damage, 3 of which goes to your hit points, and 3 of which goes to your shine. At this, you hear a little bit of a like bleep 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 on one of the monitors, and Pruitt walks over to it and like expands the screen and looks at it and like kind of smiles. He goes, "All right," and he looks down as like samples are being like moved into like a conveyor belt that moves to like centrifuge as they disappear, and he goes,
Hey, what you taking out of me? Is it just blood stuff?
"Don't you worry about that. You just worry on answering my questions, Mr. Gurley. You're doing fantastic. Keep it up."
All right. Okay.
How many times have you taken the life of a non-illuminated individual?
Well, I mean, I grew up on a farm. But I don't know. Well, now there's been 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me think. Give me a second. I'm slow. When it's numbers involved. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't. I don't. Oh God. Well, I think I lost the count.
He marks that down in his notes, seeming completely unmoved by a thing that is horrific to yourself. As he continues. When you've depleted yourself of all illuminated energy, how long does it typically take you how long does it typically take for you to return to 100% capacity?
I don't know. You got like a tissue or something? I don't. It's like a couple date. Can we be done? I don't.
Almost there, Mr. Gurley. You're doing great. Answer the question.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Doesn't matter. What you got to do is answer my question.
What sort of restraints is he in?
Are you in? You are in basically containment manacles. It's like modified containment manacles attached to like this actuating arm that is holding you up and actually able to move your limbs around to make like certain parts of your body open as more devices attach themselves to your body.
Mm-hmm. I as one of them moves, he wants to like sort of boxer way move with it, like push farther in the way it wants to go as a way of like testing the restraint and like sort of like lashing out against it almost instinctively.
Okay. Are you attempting to break out of that manacle?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is exceptionally difficult.
Yeah.
This is going to be at a -9. Gonna be a -9 athletics just to affect the, we'll say on like one of your arms, affect the like the restraint on that one arm.
Cool. Plus the -3.
Plus the -3.
Great. This was a bad idea, but here I go.
You
At least I
go
roll 5
strong.
dice.
Well, he can
I
always
could go
roll
strong.
first, right?
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna go at strong.
Okay.
And so this both counts and explodes. Oh. God, this is so stupid for if I'm trying to break out. Like, God, I want to do it. No. I'm not going to do it. It's the difference between 4 successes and 5 successes.
I will say, in the interest of fairness, I had a thing for if it was 5.
I'm spending 2 grit to play together.
Okay. Like, you don't know the magnitude of that thing, but I did think if he gets 5, I'm gonna do a thing.
All right. Well, what if it is? What if it's 7?
I mean, at that point, we're beyond the 5. Okay.
Yeah. What if it's 7 successes though?
Cool. So you break out one arm, like the manacle is still there, and there's like this kind of like glowing force that's like not like increasing its attachment to, like, it's like a magnetic increasement to an already existing like joint, that you break both the joint and do it with such force that the magnetic attachment also like turns off and breaks. You get that arm completely free. It still has like metal on the forearm, but like whatever. You also are able to do that with your lower leg on the same side. As you basically like twist your entire body and break yourself away from a bunch of the devices holding onto you. Your right arm and right leg are still attached to like this basically like operating arm. However, you don't need to roll an endure test to see how many hit points you may and shine you may or may not lose, because you detach yourself from most of the devices that were drawing samples, and the other devices pull away as a like kind of a like safety protocol to like protect themselves from damage as you just bring it off, and like the lights like switch over to like a red, and like some alarms start going off, and like multiple monitors start like beeping loudly as you detach from like sensors that are like monitoring your biometrics. You do this, and what I need you to do now, Gus, is I need you to roll a defense test. Just a normal defense test. It is against a melee attack, so you can use your melee skills to do so. You can use block and stuff. However, you are at a -4 for being restrained in the way that you are, a -3 for being tired as you are, and also, yeah, no, that's
-3 in addition to the
no. I
or
was
just the
I
original.
was I was adding I was just saying
Gotcha.
I was
So
putting it
an
all together.
overall a -7.
A -7, and then I'm gonna bamboozle you 3 times, so -10.
Cool.
Puts you up from 3 to 6.
Mm-hmm. On a melee attack.
Yeah, Pruitt reaches out to grab you.
Okay.
But because you got 5 or more successes, Eloise, you wake up. You are not in your cell. In fact, you're submerged in some kind of fluid. And you feel like a huge discomfort as you realize there's a tube down into your lungs that is pumping oxygen and breathing for you. And you open your eyes because you hear Gus shout out in pain and fear and frustration. And that brings you to consciousness briefly. And you're floating in a tube. It's not like not like an isolated tube. Like the walls, there's a wall behind you. There's a curved wall behind you with some lights at your feet that are illuminating you. And you are in some kind of fluid floating with this tube in your mouth. And when you open your eyes, it stings your eyes, but not enough to stop you from seeing other frosted tubes lining the opposite wall from you. And anything you do right now, Eloise, is going to be at least a -3, as you have basically been kind of snapped out of being completely unconscious. But you definitely, like, even despite the disorientation of what you see at least like 5 tubes across from you with different figures floating in them. And to your left and right, you can kind of see there's also tubes on your side of the wall. You're in a large hallway with like various various technological devices and like stations in the center. That's what you're able to see, Eloise. And you're extremely disoriented, but despite that disorientation, you know for a fact you heard Gus shout out.
If I look down the hall, are there doors?
You look to your right and you see large double blast doors, similar in design to what you saw attached to Pruitt's office. Gus,
To the lab?
yeah, to the lab. Like, remember there were 4 doors.
Yeah, no,
sets
I
of doors?
remember.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure these might they might be the same. They might be the same.
Yeah,
doors?
these ones look like, by design, they look very similar.
Okay.
Gus, you're up against a 10.
Okay. I got the 4 that I'm allowed to count. But if I go at strong, then I can beat him. And if I beat him, counterattack uses the successes that I beat him with.
Yes, but don't forget your go at strong can't negate the -3 I gave you from Bamboozle.
That's right. Okay, so then it doesn't even matter. Then yeah, I got a 4.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you get away, you hear everything ringing, you try to like find your footing. You have to kind of like be at a weird angle to get your like left foot down as you try to yank with your right, and as you do, just a hand reaches out and touches your face. And now I need you to roll a discipline test.
Cool.
Oh, I don't have line of sight.
Oh, do you not?
She
I don't
doesn't.
have line of
She
sight to
doesn't.
you.
The doors are closed, yeah.
Can I reach up to my neck and see if the thing is still there?
The collar?
Yeah.
It is. But this is the first time you've been able to touch it with your hands.
Oh my god. Am I still in my jumpsuit?
No, you're not fully clothed. You're wearing basically.
So my little like the bits and pieces that I had in my jumpsuit
the
are
EMP.
gone? Yeah.
I said you could hide them anywhere. It could be in your hair.
Okay. Would any of those pieces work as like a lockpick?
If you want to forego the EMP aspect of them.
Yes.
Okay, you'll render the rest of the pieces relatively inert by using pieces as a lockpick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't feel like I have time.
This is contested, right?
Yes, this is contested.
Can I use my warding instead?
Absolutely. Yeah. You are resisting an insight power. If you have better warding, use that.
It's a 6 discipline versus a 4 warding, but I roll so many more dice at insight and I might not grave misfire.
Oh, sure. You're not looking for a win here. You're looking for a not grave misfire here.
Yeah. Oh, and I only rolled 120, so we're good.
Nice. You
Jeez.
are up against an 11.
This is ridiculous.
An 11?
Yes.
I rolled an 11, but I can only count ones. Actually, I can count zeros, so
No,
it
you
doesn't
can
even
always
matter.
count once.
Oh, you can always count once? I can count once.
Okay. I'm not gonna spend the time getting the pieces and picking this lock. I am going to attempt to use telekinesis on the door.
Okay. The door is about human size, so spend that much shine.
Okay.
You are at a -6 to do this.
Okay. But I can roll.
You can roll, and then I'll tell you what else happens.
Okay. So do I have any hit points? I actually don't know.
You have not rested or anything like that.
Okay.
Oh. Yes, you're at like 1 hit point because he did have to knock you out. That's right.
Okay. -6.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't matter. That's 4 hits.
Okay.
We're
Wait.
getting out of here.
I'm getting you out of here. I don't know if I'm getting out, but that's okay.
Gus, this hand touches you. Touches your face.
Mhm.
And pushes it against. You don't get to see Pruitt as he shoves your head away from him. And then you feel this pulse of influence, this extremely strong power of will that washes over you from this hand. It courses through your mind, down your body, taking control of every aspect of you as he successfully puppeteers you for a long-lasting effect.
Oof. Oofa doofa.
And
Amazing.
And he goes, "Calm down there, Mr. Gurley. You were doing so well." And he like moves his hand with your head as he makes you turn your head to look at him. You just kind of stand there like one arm and leg up. He presses a couple buttons. The alarms turn off. Eloise, you sit there groggy, this thing like pushing air in and pulling air out of your lungs. You reach out, your eyes flash gold, your hands glow with this warm golden light, and you see as the test tube around you cracks and shatters, and you fly out of it, and like the tube in your mouth like rips painfully out of your mouth as you tumble to the ground. And then the collar on your neck lights up with energy. How much shine did you spend?
4.
You take that much direct hit point damage, non-lethal stops at 0, which puts you unconscious again.
Okay. Did the door open?
Wait, can you take an injury?
This is Roman is 100% right. Roman is correct, 100%. But also I thought you were doing it on the tube. Were you doing it on the door?
I was doing it on the door.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were shoving your way out of the test tube.
No,
You're not shoving your way out of the test tube. You're
I'm not,
ripping the doors
no.
open.
Yeah.
That you can still do that. You don't break the glass in front of you. I misheard what you were saying. I thought you meant like the door to your tube. So you reach out from your tube. eyes flash gold, hand glows, and then you watch as the door like and like this like hydraulic starts like shooting steam like as you force them open, and it's against the like controls of this thing. You rip it open. I do need you to spend more shine though, because this thing is larger than human sized. I made it human sized because I thought it was the front of your tube.
Oh, okay, I do.
Yeah.
So I take.
So Gus, you're not really in control, but you are stable. You are still able to witness what is happening. You are aware of the intrusion. You realize that you are doing things against your will. As your head turns, you have no command. You try to move your body, you cannot. It's like you are just a spectator in the back seat of your own vision. And he turns your head to look at him, and he kind of grins like he's done this before 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, I bet he has.
And then the door behind him, these two massive blast doors, creak and moan and begin to open. And he turns his head with a bit of an alert, like a bit of confusion, and like his hand grips tighter on your face. And like every fiber of your being is wanting to like swing or move or do anything. And you're firing all of those commands and they're going nowhere. Your body is not moving. You are not in control of your body. As you see him kind of step back and the doors like creak and crack open. And then Eloise, he sees you and you see him. And then your collar lights up and electrocutes you for however much shine you cost.
And I do take an injury.
And you take an injury.
I need to finish this. I need to finish this even if nothing else. Okay. And that's 6. So that is a wait. Which die did I roll? Okay. Okay, well, I hate that. Oh wait, no, that's probably fine. It's fine. It's I have fallen down. I imagine that it's just like the tube is like
yeah, you get like electrocuted and like get tangled up in the cord that is like providing you air.
Okay. That's fine. Okay, how much that is my the one I took. And then is the action to me? Or
yeah, because you did telekinesis. No, he did puppeteer. Then you
kept his grip on Gus's face.
No, this was just resolving your telekinesis. Okay, you being electrocuted.
Yeah.
So he sees you, turns back to Gus. Gus, your eyes close against their will as you hear him say, "Sleep now, buddy." And you fall asleep.
Can I ward against it?
No, he's already cast the power. He has it as a long-lasting effect as long as he maintains.
Can't wait until it's what comes out.
He's maintaining touch with Gus as he does it. Gus, you fall into sleep as if affected by the sleep tonic. Someone would need to grab you and physically shake you awake to wake you up.
Okay.
He does that, and Eloise, you see him let go of Gus's face. And Gus is just like one arm and one leg like hanging asleep off of this device. But like kind of like tries to move in a way to like lay him back on the like it's like it's designed to hold a patient. It's like, oh, how do I this like mechanical arm is like moving around. And he turns back to you, Eloise. It is your turn.
Well, this has made this easy. I pulled Gus to me.
He is still restrained, half of his.
Oh, can I contested roll for it?
I mean, yeah, you'll be able to roll. Yeah.
Oh
You're gonna use telekinesis.
Yeah.
It's a human-sized target.
I think he's human-sized. Okay.
Technically, human size.
Human-sized is a range.
The upper limit of human size.
Gus is at the top of the human-sized range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you spend the amount of shine necessary to target a human-sized target. And if you're trying to break him out, you're still within a case of glass.
I understand.
You try to break him out of his restraints with telekinesis. So you're gonna roll at a -4
Okay.
to break his restraints, because he's already damaged them quite a bit, and I'm going to bamboozle you 3 times
Okay.
to make that -4 a -7.
Okay. Okay. Well, so I roll. Is it mentalist? I roll, or do I roll for the telekinesis? Because
It's mentalist. Yeah, you're using telekinesis.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. You have to roll at a -7 to try and break him out of the restraints. And I have bad news for you. It's
contested?
opposed.
Oh, that's fine.
By the restraints?
No, by someone who is warding.
Yeah,
Right. That makes sense.
that's fine. Wait, no. I have. Don't you roll? I have four grit. I have 4 grit. I'm gonna bamboozle him 4 times.
Okay.
Oh, snap.
Gustafer Gurley is mine. He don't get him.
Oh no, I changed Porter's number. Whoops.
Don't you touch my grit, goddammit.
Needs that.
Yeah, four bamboozles, and then I have 5 left, and I am gonna go at strong.
Okay, don't forget your go strong cannot reduce the -3 I gave you.
Bamboozle. I know. But
I have
that is
an
okay.
8.
Suck it. I also have an 8 and 10.
If you hadn't bamboozled me, I could have done something about this.
So yeah, I would like to yoink, jostle him as he's flying around. And I would like to literally like rocket him down the hallway.
Sure. So Pruitt turns to face you from a distance away. He sees you kind of like struggling against the cords as your eyes continue to glow, and you reach and desperately yank. And as your like golden energy washes out, Pruitt raises a hand, and that golden energy like hits a wall, wraps around, and manages to grab onto Gus, and then yank Gus out up over Pruitt's head, breaking him out of his restraints and flying him towards you. You do take damage equal to the amount of shine you just spent.
I take an injury.
I was fully expecting for this to be a grave misfire, and I was like, "Is this how Tommy gets his arm? Is this how it happens?"
I can't spend that.
That's his arm.
I can't spend enough shine in one go to make that happen. Okay. Well, I rolled 2 dice because this is my second injury, and I fall down again.
You are stuck in this tube, yo. You're so stuck in this tube.
The tube like wraps itself around like a seatbelt, and you're like, I can't.
What actually happens is like cords launch out and start restraining you against the back of the tube as your tube turns red. You had this kind of like cool, like blue light that was like dim below you, and it becomes this bright red light as it's like, this tube is malfunctioning. This patient is awake. And it tries to restrain you as these cords launch out and wrap against you, kind of spider web you against this thing.
Okay.
Do I wake up getting tossed through the air and landing?
I think probably yes. The answer is yes.
Equivalent of being
It's
shaken
the equivalent
away.
of being shaken. I will say, you're not wearing any armor.
I can control it, right?
How many successes did you get?
When I rolled, I got net successes. I got 2 net successes.
Okay, yeah, you can use both of those. Gus will take no damage in you yoinking him to you.
Yeah.
And then Gus, you are jostled awake. You're at a -3. As basically Eloise shakes you awake by yanking you out of your tube.
I'm still groggy. Is the -3?
So here's how it actually works. I said it was as if the sleep tonic. So you're at a -3 to awareness and logic tests,
Oh.
but you're still at a -3 for the other thing that happened to you. Basically, what happened before from that grave misfire wasn't like coming out of the sleep tonic. It was something different. It was a -3 just to everything. Coming out of the sleep tonic gives you a -3 to awareness and logic tests.
So I'm at a -6 to awareness and logic.
Correct. And a -3 to everything else.
Cool. Great.
Um,
Am I still out of my control?
Pruitt doesn't have control of you anymore. He let go.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's
so you
bad for
like
him.
tumble and toss and like up against a tube, and you're like, huh? And you wake up and you look up and you see Eloise being pulled into this tube with this like mask on her face, and then down these like kind of cracked open blast doors. Pruitt like looms forward. Gus, what do you do?
Anything look heavy around?
No, so you get a better look at this hallway than Eloise does. There are 8 of these kinds of tubes, 5 on one side, 3 on the other. Eloise is on the side with 3. You can't see within these tubes, but they are like frosted over and you see shapes within them. Eloise's is the only one that isn't frosted over, presumably because she was put in there more recently. And you see what she's got going on. You have these 3 tubes that are built into the wall. The room itself, or the hallway itself, is kind of stout in length. It doesn't lead anywhere else. It only attaches to this lab. And it's just got central consoles and then a sophisticated suite of computers at the end of it, at the end of the tunnel opposite the doors. And then the doors lead into Pruitt's lab. Basically, you're in a glorified walk-in closet for test subjects.
God.
Okay. And from what do I remember anything about the layout of this place from Scruff stuff?
A decent amount.
Am I near anything external that might have a window or an extra wall or anything?
Scruff's layout would tell you that the hallway you're in, no.
What about the ceiling?
Scruff's readout would not give you a thickness of the ceiling between here and the roof of the building.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right. Do I know generally which direction to go to get away?
Yeah, Scruff's layout, at a guess, it's one of these 3 doors. Once you open up one of these 3 other doors that leads into the lab, you'll know. Well, not one of. Once you open up the right one, it is the one that Scruff witnessed himself entering the lab from.
Got it.
I guess he has the layout of the lab. Never mind. You know, it's the one that's at the 6 o'clock position.
Okay.
That one is the one. It's to the right as you exit this hallway. That one is the one that you know connects to the hallways that led to Scruff's room and led to the part of the layout that you are relatively familiar with. Eloise intimately familiar with. You looked at it.
Yeah. Gus looks at Elle. And he says, "Just me? We'll be back." And Gus takes off for the 6 o'clock door.
Okay. I mean, go ahead and roll athletics. Let's see how far you can get.
And he takes a versatile stance.
Nice.
And also, God, I really, really hesitate to do this, Tommy. Tommy, I really, really hesitate to do this. But I'm gonna roll my endure test.
To try and regain some hit points?
Yes.
Oh my god.
All right, roll your resilience roll.
If this screws me again, I swear. That's 3 successes.
Okay, you regain 3 hit points.
Amazing. That takes away my negative. I take a versatile stance. I take off towards the 6 o'clock door as fast as I can. Roll an athletics check is what you told me to do. That's 3 successes.
Okay. You make it to the door. You wouldn't be able to get much further than the door anyways, but what you do realize is the door doesn't want to open because the door has a keypad next to it that scans maybe something, either a chip or a card or something. You basically get to the door and like skid to a stop and you're like, I can either try to bust through this door or I need a thing to put on that device over there to open the door.
Can I use my action to try and break this door?
You got 3 successes. Yes. Yeah, you can. However, you're not hulked up. This is
actually, I may have had another. I had 4 successes. I forgot that my -3 makes the 11 split.
okay. Yeah. You have a quick action and then your free punch basically.
Cool. I would like to try to break this door.
This door is going to give you just with your fists, a -12 to break through.
Oh, is it not easier to just like grab and pull? I got
if you wanted to do that, you would need a focused action.
Cool.
And unfortunately, you don't have that at your disposal. You have a quick action and you have a free punch.
It's just like Star Wars, right? You just like jam that plate and it just right. That's
yeah.
I mean, if you want to break the plate, there's no negative for that. But
I don't think that's. Look, no, even Gus doesn't think that's how that works.
My favorite thing when I'm gonna break away for a second. Whenever I run the Star Wars RPG, my favorite thing is always making it so shooting the controls works. I'm like, yeah, of course that does it.
Yo, punch the controls. The controls are Pruitt. Punch an old man to death.
That won't help us. They'll just kill everybody. I mean, you do what you want.
The alarm's off, right?
That alarm is turned off, yes.
Yeah.
You promised. No.
I know, but this is the fastest way out. Yeah, I'm gonna punch Pruitt. Oh, this sucks. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna punch Pruitt.
Okay.
But if he touches me, he can puppeteer me, right?
Yes.
Gus knows that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but only on his turn.
Only on his turn.
So you wouldn't want to grapple him, is what you know.
Got it. Well, he's gonna be dead by his turn.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack. Don't forget your static -3 plus whatever other negatives you might have. I am going to bamboozle you twice.
Oh, you absolute.
You're up against a 10.
All right.
I believe you're at a -5. Or do you have hit point damage? You healed that, right?
I don't have hit point damage anymore. I'm going to go at strong.
Okay.
So I can count this 10 and this 11.
Okay.
He's not wearing like armor of any sort, right?
His lab coat could be armored. It's hard to tell.
Okay. Well, I guess I don't know how this one works. Oh yeah, it's an additional +2 piercing to all close combat attacks. I don't know how to calculate this damage.
Because you don't have your fist weapons.
Looking it up.
Yeah, you don't have your fist weapons. You're so used to just having your fist weapons. That's fine. It does exist. There are stats for just unarmed. It is.
It's your muscle divided by 4 is your power.
Yep, and then your accuracy is the same as your fist weapon.
Muscle divided by 4 is my power. Round up or down?
Up.
Cool. Plus I've got true strength. Pure strength?
Yep. So whatever after that muscle divided by 4 rounded up, you add 1 more.
Okay. So it's and I just remember that I'm versatile, so I re-rolled and I rolled a 12, which then explodes. But so now I've got a 10, an 11, and a 12.
All right, how much damage is that?
It's 12 damage.
Okay.
With 2 piercing.
2 of which is armor piercing. Okay. Cool. You
That's
get that.
so much damage to just hit a guy in the face.
That's your quick action. You do have a free action for your extra attack.
Yeah, you know what I'm doing with it.
Yeah. I will bamboozle you 3 times for this one.
Okay.
There it is. My last roll was bad. This roll is good.
Oof.
I
Okay.
have a 15.
A 15?
Some
No.
might say that Pruitt moves with an inhuman reaction speed.
Yeah, all right. Well, he can do what he wants. God, he's just got live cast on him.
No, he has Sixth Sense cast on him.
Oh, Sixth Sense. He's just got it. He's just got it just in case. All
It's a
right,
free
fine.
action.
It's a free action. Why is all my stuff 2 major actions? Ridiculous. Yeah, I mean he beats me 100%.
Yeah. You get the one, so like you rush up, you see the door, you kind of like see the like device that you have to go through it, and you're like, I could try to bust through that door, but you see Pruitt is like not ready for what's happening. You see he's like stumbling back, like what the fuck, and you're like, oh, okay. And so you rush up at him and you just like clock him across the face, like you bust his nose, blood shoots out, he slams against the table, and then as you like reach up to try and like elbow him in like the back of the neck or the back of the head, with like an uncanny ability to sense where you're going to attack, he pushes off of the table, you hit the table, and when you turn to swing wildly again, he's already completely wrapped around you, so that you've lost sight of him for like a split second, and you turn back and step back, fists up, and he's like pressed up against the table, like bloodied nose looking at you.
Cool. Great. Well, I'm gonna double down.
Okay.
Because of course I am. And now here's where the real decision comes in. Because this guy's got it going on, it sounds like. A little bit.
Just a bit.
But now I've got a focused action with which to wrench open that door.
This is true.
And I'm gonna go do that.
Okay.
He also could have a key card if you're good at grabbing.
Do I
things off
spot
of
a key
people.
card?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a
I mean, that
skull.
would be a skullduggery,
It'd be
right?
skullduggery.
Oh, sure,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah.
No way.
I was gonna mute. Don't worry.
Yeah, Gus,
No, it's
you
fine.
pull back, turn, and you like launch yourself at that door. You can get to that door, no problem.
Cool.
It
Yeah,
is a
I'm-
minus. So you're not punching anymore. You're trying to wrench it open. It's not a minus 12. It's a minus 9 athletics.
Cool. And I'm versatile again.
Cool.
Minus 9.
Yep.
I'm gonna. I hate to do this in the middle of session. I was observed performing an amazing feat of athleticism, and a problem was resolved with a show of strength.
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna go with strong.
Okay. I believe that puts you down to 2, right?
It does. Oh yeah, because of the stack grit that I didn't put on here. Yeah, great. That's so much better than 0. Really, so much better than 0. Great. Then yeah, that's 5 successes.
Cool. Gus, you launch forward, you grab this thing, you spend your focused action, alarms start sounding in the hallway ahead of you.
Oops.
As you rip this door open, you hear like gears and like pistons like bursting as you just rip this thing open. And you can't see this. And Eloise can't see this. But the audience can see this. Pruitt notes that Gus has not hulked out to do this.
Hell yeah, he has.
As he and partway through opening it, it like gives way and just whoosh, opens up fully. And you can like run to the like turn. You have like a T junction ahead of you, and you're able to like run to that spot, and that's about as far as you can get.
Cool. Am I out of sight?
No.
Can I like duck down the side of that T to be out of sight?
Not in any like meaningful mechanical way.
Okay.
Like you can start ducking that way, but like basically when it comes to Pruitt's turn, he'll see like your shoulder and leg and stuff like that.
Okay.
So like, yeah,
so I
you
have a
start,
quick
you
action
keep
or-
running, but you know.
Cool. Do I have a quick action or free action to try and wrench this thing off of me?
No,
The mind cuff?
no. I mean, I guess you could free action punch it and risk hurting yourself.
All right.
All right, make an unarmed attack at a -8.
At a -8?
Mm-hmm.
I'm punching myself.
First off, that's hard to do at full strength. Second off, you still have to break this thing.
Sure. A -8. You know what? Honestly, I'm good. Actually, I'm cool. I'm fine. I didn't misfire or anything. I'm at a -12.
Okay,
What do you want?
Cool. You get 1 net success punching yourself.
Tight.
You take that much damage. However that calculates. As you like punch up and you like it like hurts. It like knocks your like the wind out of your like throat for a second and like makes it really tight in your Adam's apple as you're like trying to just like break this thing running.
Yeah. Cool.
Pruitt goes.
Great.
Blood down his nose. He looks over, sees you, Eloise, restrained by the tube. He sees Gus sprinting down the hall. And he just goes, "God damn, Schaefer," as he twists the device all the way up and presses the button. And both of you take 14 direct to hit point damage.
I take my final injury.
I also would take a measure.
Okay.
Is it so? It comes through the mind cuff.
Yeah, it comes through the mind.
God, if only I had punched myself good.
I'm just glad it's not 2 more. I mean, can you imagine having your arm electrocuted off? That would just be gratuitous.
I can never remember the injury table. Can someone tell me what a 7 gets me?
7 on 14 damage is your threshold for misfires is reduced by 1.
Oh, cool. What's that one called?
Shaken.
Shaken. And it's a tier 2?
It is a tier 2, yes.
Cool.
You don't have like the like you always have armor thing, right? Like toughness.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. I'm compromised.
Okay.
I have -1 reliability on all my tests.
Cool.
That's fine.
All right.
It's just like having freaking odd numbers everywhere.
Yeah, Tommy's about to tell you it's a quick action to do that.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan, for saying it so I didn't have to. He does it again. He presses the button a second time.
This is why I said beat an old man to death.
Yeah, well, did you see what he was rolling?
Well, you just keep doing it.
Right?
It's another 14 damage direct to hit points, non-lethal to both of you.
Well, I
Boop, 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 boop.
am out, but you can take another injury.
I sure do. What's a 5?
-1 to your static.
You remember to roll 2 dice, right? And take the highest?
What's a... I'm shaken again?
Threshold, yeah.
It
So
cannot affect you further
You just have
because
another injury,
it's
yeah.
just 1 now for everything. It's just 1.
It's just if you roll a natural 20, you're gonna be
We rightfully decided you can never reduce your misfire threshold to 0.
Yeah.
Smart. We
So-
did that good.
Eloise and Gus, the collars electrocute crazily. Gus, you fly up against the wall and you like jolt. You can't control your body for a second. You fly up against the wall, slam into the other wall, manage to keep your footing. But like, even when it stops electrocuting, like you feel the energy course into your body. You feel weak. You feel like you just ran a marathon. Eloise, you black out. Everyone can take a grit.
Whew, you finally said something nice. I've been
No,
waiting
because
for
he's
you.
gonna double down and
He's
do
gonna
another
double down and do
28
it 2 more
damage.
I'm
times.
still, even if it's prefacing, he's just been like throwing shit the entire time. So I'm
He
still
doesn't
gonna
want.
take
He
it.
doesn't want me and Addie to do the cool stuff. He wants.
I
He
just
wants
want
y'all to
Gus
have.
to get out.
He wants y'all to have another shopping episode next time, and I just get to hang out with Alf.
And I'm alone in a tube in like
Gus?
cryostasis.
Gus, you take 14 damage direct to hit points, non-lethal, as Pruitt just holds his thumb down on the button.
Jeez.
What's a 19 get me?
Compromised. It's -1 reliability.
And then again, it happens
Do
again.
it to me again. I fucking dare you.
He does.
This is a very serious moment, but I cannot stop.
Yeah, and that's as many injuries as I can take.
What's that one?
Or no, compromised was as many injuries as I could.
Oh, so the 14, this time the 14 does it?
Yes.
Okay,
Did
cool.
more than 14 hit points?
No. At no point.
Yeah, Gus, you like convulse, slam into the wall, leaving a dent in the wall. You grab onto the corner. You try to get yourself away. You break line of sight with Pruitt. You stumble down the hall. It doesn't stop shocking you as you stumble and like try to leap forward. You start to see soldiers filling the hall in front of you in response to the alarm. And before they have a chance to do anything, you black out and fall down. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Well, we gave it literally our best shot.
Yeah.
How were we to know that this old man is free action rolling for 15s and putting out 40 damage a turn?
Yeah, if we had thought about it, if you had taken off the collar immediately,
Yeah.
but we didn't.
It's too many. It's a focused action to take off the collar?
Yeah, absolutely. To like rip it off, for sure.
That's a shame.
Damn.
Also, I didn't know that this was a hallway that was just a closet.
There was
I
no
would've
way
told
for you to
in
know.
here.
Here's the important thing. You guys got a lot of information, but with that attempted jailbreak. You got a lot of information with that attempted jailbreak.
How absolutely screwed we are.
All
Never
right.
gonna see Alf again.
We are we are done. We are done for tonight, but we have some questions in the Discord, I believe. We're entering the Q&A section. So if you have any questions in the chat about the session, about the game, about the players, anything, toss it in and we will answer it. Meanwhile, I know we have some in the Discord. So let's take a look at those. Okay. Oh man, I did not pre-read any of these. Argatlom has some people for us to build. There's Ark from Terranigma. Notable traits: extremely mobile, polearm mastered, leaping and charging attacks, with an ability to throw barrage of attacks at a nearby target. Okay, well, brawn, 100% brawn for sure. Probably illuminated if they're going to be leaping. Or they could have cybernetic legs with hydraulic jacks. In addition, strong climber, tightrope walker. All right, well, climber and tightrope walker, that makes me feel like subtlety because of the ability to wall climb with that. And then spellcaster through the use of thrown items. Okay. Well, illuminated stands there. Owns and flies a biplane. I don't know if you need the awareness, the vigilance talent tree.
It
to
depends
own and
on
fly a
if like
biplane.
their spell casting is like, if their thing is like they fly it very good, or
Yeah,
if they're
it
like,
doesn't-
I'm a very powerful wizard.
It doesn't sound like this person's like the Red Baron.
Yeah.
Like,
Sounds like
you
they
could
just have
fly a
plane.
biplane.
Yeah. You just need a good awareness stat and a good pilot, and you can fly pretty well. The vigilance tree gives you a ton of things that like make you way better at flying things than other people, but you don't need it. if it's less important. So maybe the enlightenment tree for the third tree if they want to be really good at like using somatic powers and stuff like that.
Honestly, it seems like it might need sure hands.
Oh, sure.
It sounds like spellcaster through the use of thrown items.
You get those projectile things.
You just start hucking spells at people.
Yeah, the plane is just how he gets around late game, says Argent Lom. So definitely doesn't need the vigilance tree. So yeah,
Sure hands are enlightenment as your third tree.
yeah, enlightenment if you want like the like psionic menace, which lets you use a mentalist power on 3 targets, which would allow you to telekinesis 3 things up and throw them. Or the sure hands tree, so that your projectile weapons are just in general much better. Like your thrown projectiles can be really fucking brutal if you go down that tree. And I think that's that character. Next up, related, how many cubes would it take to make a biplane? By way of example, a crop duster can carry about 9,000 pounds of internal capacity. That includes fuel, dusting, and crew. And it can cruise at about 190 miles per hour for about 600 miles and takes off with about 2,000 feet of runway. Additionally, they can glide around 80 miles per hour, well below where other airplanes should stall out, which helps to increase their effective range.
You got the gear thing up, right, Tommy?
I do. I was just looking at it. Okay. So first you want to start with the plane. If you want it to be, it sounds like maybe perhaps the biplane is kind of more like a cargo type plane. So what you probably want, scroll through all these different types of vehicles. You want a plane that has, how many mod points do you have? 12. Okay. That has extra load bearing for sure. And if that's at high quality, you still have 5 left. So most planes on Manifest don't travel at necessarily that high of a speed. A really good example is to think of Wyatt Chafee's plane. The pilot who was mentioned in this episode is considered one of the fastest planes on Manifest, and it probably tops out at like 250, 275 miles per hour. That's not to like include Proto Martyr tech, which is closer to actual jet engines, that kind of thing. But so maybe the supercharged engine helps a bit because it keeps it moving fast. Otherwise, you might just want hybrid power, which is a mod you can use to make it so you can be more fuel efficient, because you mentioned like the gliding and stuff like that. But you can't have both of those things, right? No, you can't. You can't. So you'd have to decide between those two. If you wanted to also have extra load bearing so you can carry all that crop dust. But yeah, definitely.
Could you? Okay,
extra load
Tommy.
bearing.
Here's a question.
What's up?
If you're good enough, because you only need that extra load bearing while you've got the crop dust in there. So mid-flight, after you've dusted the crops, can you just take that and make it something else?
If you want to continuously spend the cubes to rebuild that mod, yes. It's not incredibly efficient, but like basically when you remove a mod, it breaks, it's gone.
Yeah.
Right. So like if you're like, all right, I don't need extra load bearing anymore, let's get rid of that. We'll just detach those like cargo bays. And now we're faster and everything. But then when like you land, you're like, okay, cool, we have to put up another load of crop dust. All right, spend 6 machinery cubes and some time, put those cargo bays back on.
That's fair. I guess just while you're in the air, suddenly you're in a dogfight and you need to put something else.
Yeah,
on
get
there,
rid of them. Get rid of them.
Tight.
Yeah, that's absolutely a thing I would let happen at my table, because extra load bearing lets you, or gives you -1 speed, -1 handling. And I like the idea of people being able to like jettison their cargo or jettison their cargo bays to get rid of the extra load bearing modification so that they lose the penalties on speed and handling so that they can better survive a dogfight. I love that. And it works within the mechanics of the game, because the mechanics of the game, you can just break off a mod and it's gone forever. So like I love that. I love the idea. If someone who was playing like a smuggler type character wanted that, I would 110% let that happen. I'd be like, yeah, you can have a button right there on the console that when you press it, it just drops your cargo pods.
There's a button that says drop cargo, and then there's a button next to it that says drop cargo bay.
Yeah. Super, super good. But I think more or less like it's a toss up as to what you want to do with the rest of your mod points, but you definitely want to plane with extra load bearing. And then maybe supercharged engine sounds potentially correct. And if not supercharged engine, probably hybrid power and something else, maybe armor or ramming plates. Good old ramming plates on a plane.
Ridiculous. I love
All right. Argalam also asks, how high of a telekinesis roll would it take to alternatively A, pull the stick from a helicopter pilot's hands, or B, just pull the entire helicopter down? He has a second part to this question, but we'll get to that in a second. So there are opposed rolls.
Straight up. Depends on how good the pilot is.
Yep. Those are opposed rolls. So if you want to yank a helicopter out of the sky, you spend the amount of shine that is equal to something that is larger than human sized, right? And then
It's actually twice human sized.
Sure.
I'm still in Eloise. It's twice human sized, which means that anything generally larger than like a car, you can't do.
So if your GM would let you yank a helicopter out because it's like, oh, it's a smaller helicopter or whatever, like they take a yank, right? But the helicopter pilot gets to try and oppose you. So they roll their pilot against your telekinesis. And if you don't get enough successes, you don't get to pull it down at all. And that's pretty much how it goes. And the same thing is true, but less than human sized for the stick. I don't know if I would have the pilot roll pilot against that. That feels almost more like a muscle based thing because it's less about their ability to control an entire vehicle and more about their ability to like their grip strength on the stick. But again,
but you'd also have to be able to see it because
Yeah.
that's the thing about telekinesis is that you have to be able to see it.
so you have to be in the helicopter. You could yank it out, but like if you only get so many uses because they opposed you and rolled okay, you only get
Cannot
one or
pull out
two
people's
uses.
spikes.
You pull it out, they grab onto it, you pull it out again, they grab onto it, you're out of uses, and they still have control. They can regain control of the helicopter because it takes a little while for the helicopter to hit the ground.
Yeah. If you can regain control of a helicopter that has been pushed straight down, more power to you. They're not designed to fly.
It's true.
They are a miracle.
Argalam
An
also
abomination.
asks,
like the movies.
can a datapad or Omni tool be built into a prosthetic limb?
Give me a Pip Boy.
So no, not really. Thematically, yes, absolutely. Right.
There's
If you
no
want,
mechanics for it, basically.
but it's still a separate item from the limb. And if you're trying to take one and turn it into a limb, the most mechanically sound way to do that would be to salvage the Omni tool for its parts and use those parts to make a limb. But if you just want it as like part of the limb, like take Eloise's Omni tool. Eloise's Omni tool is like a gauntlet, right? But take like, I guess Roland isn't that much different because Roland's was built like on top of his armor over his shoulder. But like I've had other people whose Omni tools are literally just like a thing they wear on their back and then pull out and use. Like they can be anything. So if you want it to be like thematically built into your arm, that's fine. But it does mean that it can be detached and like removed from your arm. Or if your arm is destroyed through a class 4 injury, your Omni tool is still intact. You can remove it after the fact. One final let's build from Argat Lam. Argat Lam wants to build Loba from Apex. I'm already starting to think about it.
She's a privileged outlaw.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Privileged outlaw, 100%. Those are the two. That's the path. That's the path in the history, 100%. Privileged outlaw, done. As far as like abilities and gear, obviously she's a sneak thief, so she would have subtlety for being able to be sneaky sneak. I always just think like an Apex character needs to have sure hands so they can be better with guns, but I think every Apex character needs to be tier 4 sure hands, spray and pray. But but that's just me. Definitely subtlety. I don't really know what else. Moxie, I guess, for her, right?
It's Moxley, subtlety, and sure hands.
Yeah.
Honestly, right? Like
Moxie.
the thing about Apex is like you're sort of right. They're in world. They're all very good at shooting guns. Like there's a tree that does that.
Yeah, Moxie, subtlety, sure hands. That's Loba, as far as talents go. I think the only way, so currently the only way to replicate her abilities that she has in game, because she has a bracelet she can take off and throw and then teleport to where it lands. The only thing in Manifest that lets you teleport like that is the blink ability. So like maybe she's illuminated with blink. That way you can teleport. And that also helps because honestly, if she's illuminated, she could also have detect item and telekinesis, which would replicate her ultimate ability, which is a market she can put down to see what items are around her and then pull them to her.
Oh,
So
that's just a family black box.
Oh God, yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean that for sure. So there's a tier 4 talent in Moxie that's called Family Black Box, which is you are, whether or not you are connected to the family, you know enough people to have connections to the family insofar as you know where to look to where they stash stuff. And a family black box is basically a thing you can go to. It's hidden in various settlements and various cities around Manifest. You go to it and you can put an amount of spurs into it and get an item out. And so mechanically what family black box lets you do is it lets you get basically any item you want at like half price once per like area. You're like, we're in Waypoint. I know where there's a family black box, and you know what it has? A motorcycle,
A helicopter.
And then
That's a hell of a big box.
And then you pay half price, and you go a little outside Waypoint to where the family stashed a fucking helicopter because you saw the weird little signs and runes that they painted on like some walls to let you know where it was. You go. You put your money in the device and then bump, you open up a hangar and there's a helicopter just fucking waiting for you. It's one of my favorite tier 4 abilities.
No, you call it family black box. I call it half price nooks.
Half price nooks?
Nooks.
Oh,
it's just a little
nooks.
nook and you can get something
nook
for half price.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Yeah. So that seems right. Yeah. Definitely, I think between illuminated powers and family black box, she can get anything she wants ever. All right, cool. That's Loba. And I think that's all we have. Yeah, that's it. I got nothing else in the Discord. I got nothing else in the chat. So we are done for tonight. We're going to be back on next week.
This was a good dry run. Don't worry, everybody. We will get out Gus next week.
I'm gonna murder this asshole who can for free roll it in 20s.
No.
I'm gonna drop a whole
Gus
cargo
is
bay
gonna
on
just
him.
steal a gun, shoot into the ceiling, look through the hole, fly into the air, and then while dropping, blink somewhere else.
Good idea.
I will remember to establish this at the beginning of next session, but oh no, never mind. Nothing. Continue.
Oh
No, I already said the whole
no.
plan.
I don't want to hear what you almost have to say, Tommy. I'm out.
It sounded like you were going to say something, Seth.
No. I wanted to hear what you were gonna say. That's all. I was just very ready for it.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll establish it next session. All right, we're done. We're going to see you guys Tuesday the 19th. Play some more Manifest and see how our drifters fare. Thank you all for watching.
Shawshank and stab Shaw. Gotta happen.
Thank you to Laura and to Ryak for all the bits. Oh my God, Seth, get to work on that
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, that does have to happen, doesn't it?
That's amazing. You guys are amazing. Thank you all so much. We will see you next week. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bee, 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 bee.